What is up, guys? This is Kyle here with Dirty Boot Sports. We're here for our second show tonight. We first want to thank everybody for the reception that we got on our first show. I think the sound quality was not up to par, but I hope that you find that this episode is much better, being that we're actually using a microphone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not a laptop computer mic.
But that microphone in the middle of the table made us feel important.
Yeah, we were all talking to it, all hovering around it, and you couldn't even hear us.
I had the perfect settings, but my computer was not up to par with the mic.
It was a good practice run, but hey, we're on the show too. We appreciate the support. First of all, I want to talk about maybe a schedule. Right now, we're doing weekly shows, and we'd love to move up to 2 shows a week before the NFL season kicks off. So, hopefully we'll have the time to get that done to bring you kind of a regular show. Expect a show at least in the middle of the week every week. So today we've got Clay, Chance, Peyton, and myself. Rayleigh and Ty are out tonight. We're going to talk about a few different topics. First off, Clay's gonna hit us off with the NBA Finals. He is a big time Warriors fan, the biggest in the state.
Absolutely.
We're gonna proclaim that now. Then we're gonna move on to the Major League Baseball and the Braves. Chance is gonna head that off. Then we're going to jump down to NFL news, and of course the Saints with Peyton taking lead on that.
Who that?
That's right. And then the final segment is going to be a fun one. We're going to do a list, and we would love for y'all to comment and debate with us. But this is going to be top 5 quarterbacks, 25 and under.
And that's something we're going to try to do, some type of list, ranking, draft every time. So I'm thinking a dirty 5, something like that.
35.
Hey. Throw in our little brand,
I like the
dirty
title.
5
and embrace debate.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
We're going to debate on it.
We're gonna take it and run with it. And the final segment is going to be our dirty 5.
Yes,
I like it. I like the dirty 5.
All right, so kick it off, Clay.
Yeah, so NBA, I wanna address some things. Peyton gave me a little choo-choo last time with my Warriors fandom. So I want to talk about how I am a Warriors fan a little bit.
And I can vouch for everything he's about to say.
Yeah.
I was there. Okay,
Yeah.
I can vouch.
So when I first started watching basketball in like 2007, 2008, when I was like 8 years old, Chance was a big Duke University fan. So naturally, being a little brother, I'm like, I'm going to root for North Carolina.
Sure did.
And I start rooting for them. 3 or 4 years later, one national championship later, the 2012 team comes in with Harrison Barnes, number 1 recruit in the nation. A lot of great guys. John Henson, Kendall Marshall, a lot of NBA players. And I'm like, Harrison Barnes, he's my guy now. He's the number 1 recruit in the nation. I want to like him. We get beat by Kansas in the Elite Eight his sophomore year. Heartbreaking game. Probably one of my least favorite games I've ever watched. Then I'm like, okay, I don't really have my NBA team. So wherever he goes, that's going to be my team in the NBA. So the draft comes up. Anthony Davis is the number 1 pick, of course, after the undefeated, or I think they lost one game his year
one.
to Indiana. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was going to go to bust. I was like, okay, Cleveland, number 4 pick, just had Kyrie Irving and Tristan Thompson in the top 4 last year. They could use a small forward, have a good 3 young core. Let's go Harrison Barnes there. They don't take him. He starts dropping. I'm like, okay, maybe he can go 10, come to New Orleans, be with my hometown team. I get to root for them. No. The Warriors take him at 7. I don't know anything about no California team that hasn't been good in years. Well, I'm like, all right, I'm a Warriors fan now. It gets later to the end of the draft. Draymond Green is in the draft. I had known him as being a great college player, 4-year guy. Yeah, everyone knew him. I was like, all right,
battle that year.
He's about to go to 27 to the Heat with LeBron. They're going to get loaded, get one of the best players in college basketball. He doesn't get picked. Warriors at 30. Pass on him for Festus Ezeli. 35, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, he graduated high school at the age of like 15 or 16.
Went to
I
Vanderbilt.
actually remember that. Yeah,
And he was supposed to be like a doctor.
Yeah.
He disappointed his parents.
Yeah.
he's
And
probably
then-
a doctor by now.
Oh, I'm
And then Draymond lasts to 35. and rest is history. We've 10 years, haven't missed a playoff run, 6 championship appearances, 1 15-win season. Yeah.
Let me butt in real quick. Let's talk about July 4th.
2016.
2016.
Yeah.
He was upset that the Warriors got Kevin Durant. He wanted Harrison Barnes on his team more than arguably the best player in the NBA at that time. That's all you need to know about his fan.
That is one of the oddest yet most dedicated fandom stories you'll hear. I just knew, like, I don't know about y'all, but I've been a Warriors fan just because they changed the game and
it's
made
fun.
it more exciting.
They're fun.
Yeah, the Splash Brothers had no clue he was going to come in with the Harrison Barnes stuff.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have think it. You wouldn't have thought
Is
it.
my man Harrison Barnes, is he still with the Kings? Is that where he's at now?
Golly.
Hey.
And he was with the Mavericks for
Yes,
a little
that's
while.
right, he was.
And we went to a Mavericks game.
Got my
I was
hat
trying.
signed by him.
He got his hat signed by him, and I was trying to get a JJ Redick autograph.
But JJ was scratched because of back
he was
tightness
scratched
that
'cause
night.
he was old. He was
Yeah.
tired. Okay.
Hey, I love JJ's podcast, though. Shout out.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, the old man in the 3.
That's
man.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, July 4th, 2016, I went to bed the night before not wanting Kevin Durant.
He did.
And
He sure did.
I'm sitting on the couch instead of celebrating America. I'm sitting on my phone waiting, refreshing Twitter, waiting for Kevin Durant. And about, I think it was like 11 a.m., he
Yeah.
posted an article, my next chapter, Golden State. I threw my phone across the living room.
Sure did. I was right there.
Here's a hot take, though. They could have won those championships without him.
I'm not going to disagree because I would have loved Harrison Barnes and Andrew Bogut. But
I feel like, well, Durant made a mistake, obviously, by leaving them. I mean, he should
They were
have
already
never-
a championship squad. Durant. just
They
like-
were. But
They
he,
made it
he
a
put
video
them
game.
to an untouchable level.
Yeah.
That's right.
And if you think back to it, Harrison Barnes really got cut or not re-signed because of 2 missed corner threes in that finals.
I believe he shot 16% from 3 in the last 3
If
games.
he makes a couple corner threes,
Mhm.
there ain't no telling what happens.
Yeah.
Durant probably never leaves
Or
Oklahoma
if Andrew
City.
Bogut isn't hurt, or if Draymond doesn't get suspended. That's a whole different day.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
So 2022 NBA Finals.
We're back. 15-win season, yeah. Last year, heartbreaking play-in loss to the Lakers and then the Grizzlies. But we're here now. Thursday night, rough. I was on a youth trip with my church, chaperoning, and I'm watching it in the living room with
In
25
your
people.
uniform.
In
Don't
my,
forget
yeah,
about your
in my lucky uniform that I've worn every playoff game, and my headband to honor Klay Thompson. We're up 14 points, I believe, and then we have devotion. Devotion ends. We're tied, and I don't think we scored another point after I turned the game on.
What was
after
God
devotion.
telling you?
I don't know. Don't know. But that game was a fluke. We won 3 quarters there, lost that 4th, and then we had Sunday night. We bounced back in a major way. Yes, yeah, I do.
I
wear
just
a
showed
uniform.
everybody the picture of him in his uniform. This is him before the game.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to share that on.
That might be a share on
I
social
wear
media.
a uniform. I do.
Yeah.
It's happened every playoff run I've done it. So yeah, we start off with Al Horford, Marcus Smart, and Derek White. The first game, I believe they made, 11 threes or
I
something
think they're
like
like
that.
11 for
Ridiculous.
16,
Yeah.
11 for 17.
Game 2, Al Horford has 2 points on 1 for 4 shooting. I saw Al Horford getting Finals MVP talk before the game, and then he goes and disappears. So that just
It shows you basketball.
yeah,
And
that,
what can change whenever a team that... How many times did the Warriors play the Celtics this year? Twice?
probably
Ain't that the rule? You play them twice?
Yeah, never
It
fully
shows
healthy.
that Kerr saw what their game plan was going to be. He said, by God, I'm not going to lose to these role players. If I'm going to go down, I'm going to lose to the star.
Yes.
Which is bold because it's generally the other way around.
And that's what we've done the past 3 series. The Warriors, they went against the 2-time MVP in Jokic. They went against the most improved player in Ja Morant. They went against budding superstar or top 5 player of the league, Luka Doncic. We let the best player do what he wants and take away the rest of the game. Because, I mean, that game you saw Marcus Smart didn't get the easy threes that he got. Derek White didn't have 22 points like he had game 1. We took away the game. made Jason Tatum be Mr. Superhero and go, what was it,
Gave him
28
30
points?
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that led to Jason Tatum having the lowest plus-minus in NBA Finals history with a minus 36.
Yeah, and I think Boston, if they're going to win this series, Marcus Smart's going to have to play out of his mind. I mean, I don't
both
think
sides of the court.
Yeah, both sides of the court. I mean, almost more on the defensive end than the offensive end. But I don't know if he can give that to you consistently to win the series.
That's a big ask out of a guy who is not a superstar.
Exactly.
He's
a glorified role player. If we're being honest.
He
started because Kyrie didn't want to come back.
He's a 3 for Boston. Probably he's really a 4.
Yeah.
You know, if you're talking top 4 player on a team.
Yeah, for sure.
He's not a true 3.
Well, and that 3 this postseason run for them has been Al Horford, who was I forgot who was even playing game 2. Like he was that.
Well, and I think that's the struggle with Boston is I think Boston has a 1. Jaylen Brown, I think he bounces back between a 2 and a 3.
Yeah.
I don't think he's really a 2.
He disappears a lot, too.
He disappears a lot. Mm-hmm. And so I think you have Smart and Brown who you don't know what you're going to get every night.
And you're asking these players that you're talking about who are not superstars to put it together against a seasoned. And I know the Warriors have got a whole bunch of new young, fresh talent in there. But that core is experienced as any team has ever been.
Yep.
I believe the difference coming into the finals was 128 games for the Warriors of NBA Finals appearances to 0 for the Celtics.
Which I do want to see. That experience is phenomenal, but I want to see a 7-game series of an older team like Golden State is versus a young team that's gives it all, both ends of the floor, and see how. But the way the NBA schedule these championship games, I play one and then I get another one 3 days later.
Yeah,
I mean, you lose?
There's not going to be a rhythm.
No, there's not. And I think you lose rhythm with just people watching the game.
Who does that benefit?
That benefits Golden State.
Absolutely.
All day.
Older
bodies
with our
Draymond Green, and then all the injuries.
And Boston's not used to this. No. I mean, they're not.
They've never been
under
these lights
Absolutely
before.
not.
Has the finals always been that big of a gap?
Not that far, has it?
It's been similar, but
which when they did
I think we just get to this point and we're like, oh wow.
But they did when they were doing the 2-3-2 series.
Yes, which was the stupidest thing.
I hated that with a passion because I would not want the home court advantage, quote unquote. I'd rather have the 3 in a row.
Absolutely.
I mean,
because of that rhythm.
Absolutely.
You play every other day.
Yeah, and if you just steal one of the first 2, you have that advantage there.
Do you think that the NBA moved to that format that they're using now to benefit their aging stars?
And possibly because the NBA to me is. I wouldn't say they're hurting, but
we're not quite to the point of a changing of the guard.
No, because I don't know who takes it.
There's like 5,
and that's a
problem.
That's a problem,
and that could be a whole other podcast. But I mean, I really don't know who would.
It's going to be Ja Morant.
But see, I don't think it is.
It's going to be Luka.
I think
it's going to be Ja or Luka. I think.
I feel like Ja is another.
He's
Derrick Rose / Russell Westbrook. I think he's going to rely on his athleticism, and he's getting by with it right now.
Here's the thing.
I think he's a poor man's AI.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
He's a bigger. He's a bigger
I can
AI.
see that.
I'm big AI.
He's got bounce though.
AI's my guy.
AI didn't bounce.
But AI could shoot him more.
AI didn't have as much height as Ja either. I think how tall is Ja? 6'2"?
Ja
6'1", 6'2",
6'3",
somewhere around
maybe
there.
6'3".
And AI was a lying 6 foot. He's about 5'10".
Playing the 2 guard.
He was
He played the 2.
Yeah.
Because he could poke on anybody.
Here's what I worry about with Ja, and that is just how much force can the human body take.
Yeah,
like
and
said,
he is exactly. He's explosive.
Yeah. Look at Russell Westbrook right now. He's a shell of himself.
Bo Jackson.
He can't shoot.
That's what the NBA's becoming.
They are so explosive that they literally destroy their ligaments and tendons.
Yeah. Well, these kids. I mean, I go to a lot of high school basketball games now, and you're not watching really basketball. You're just watching freak athletes on the floor that are using their ability to score. Nobody's shooting the ball real well. Like you think Golden State changed the game. You watch high school basketball. You don't see a lot of that in high school basketball. It's a lot of kids that are just athletes that are just getting on the floor, running up and down, jumping. I mean, there's not a lot of basketball plays being made.
What happened to backing a guy down and then banking one off the
That's
backboard?
that's a long time.
Especially in like North Louisiana. I mean, they're the best football player on the team will be on the basketball team and just getting in the just going at the rim.
He goes straight from the football field to the court.
Yeah.
I mean, it just uses that athletic ability. But back to Golden State, Clay. Who do you think is their core player? If there's one guy that they could not play without, who would that be?
The Warriors could not play without?
Yeah, if you took him off the floor right now, would they win the championship with that?
I've always said Draymond Green's the heart and soul of the team.
I don't think he is anymore.
I'm not going to say
he's
that.
the emotional heart and soul.
Well, if you think that, look at his difference in Game 1 and Game 2. Game 1, he was, I can almost say bad. Game 2, he was good. Mm-hmm. Game 2, he got a jump ball 9 seconds into the game.
Yeah.
He tied up Al Horford immediately. Like that's Draymond Green. But it's impossible not to say Steph Curry. It's Steph Curry or Draymond Green are the two guys that you can't take them out and you can't replace them. It's both of them to me. Okay, who do you have?
I think Clay.
Oh,
I think they're going to go as far as it takes.
I do too. I mean, he was out for the last 2 years. Yeah. They weren't the same Golden State team. I think he is the glue on that team. I think he does it on both sides of the floor. I think I don't say better shooter, him and Curry, or however you want to right, whatever you want to do. But I think he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands at all times. He doesn't. He's not emotionally like a Draymond, but
no, he's level-headed.
He's level-headed. He just feels like, to me, he keeps that whole dynamic together.
But when he's out on the floor, he demands attention. You can't leave him.
That's exactly right. Yeah, he's demanding it with his game, not his mouth, as Draymond
does. And he has not been playing well at all, really, this postseason. But they ain't going to leave him open.
No, absolutely
They're not going to play off of him.
No, they're not.
Take the lane in case Steph tries to
all he takes is one to go in, and
exactly.
It's going to be scary.
And we might not see Klay Thompson be Klay Thompson again this postseason
or his career.
But if he does, it's going to be in Game 6 because that's Game 6 Klay. That's just who he is.
Exactly
or Game 5 against Dallas.
That's just who he is, man. And he's going to show up when he needs to. I think.
That's what I love about sports. I love the redemption, the comeback, the grit and stuff.
His first basket back, I want to say, was a dunk.
Yeah.
Off of a man who blew out his knee, blew out his Achilles. His first basket back was not the little fade he does at the top of the key, that little fade at the free throw line.
Yeah,
he went dunked after missing that shot.
That was after his first play. The Warriors ran a design play opposite of him.
Yeah,
we ran him as a pretty much just
decoy.
Yeah, decoy.
Yeah.
But Klay Thompson said no, and he got the ball and shot the ball.
Yes.
Yeah, he changed up the play mid-game.
Because I've seen Curry, Game 1, for example, go off, hit 6 threes in the first quarter, and they lose.
Yeah.
When Klay goes off, they don't ever lose.
What is it about basketball? And this is something I do not understand about basketball. And I'm asking y'all. What is it about these big time scorers that does not allow their team to win when they're the ones doing it? So you look at Luka, right? Mm-hmm. You look at Ja. You look at Trey. You go back and look at AI. Never won a championship. The only guy that I can think of that consistently won scoring titles and championships was MJ, and he didn't do that till Scotty got there.
Yeah.
So you have to have somebody else. You got to have a wingman.
Yeah. So you can't do it. It doesn't matter if you're putting up 30, 40 pieces.
That's why I always hate the myth of MJ did it by himself. No, he didn't.
He didn't.
Yeah. He did. He did not. He had to have Scott.
But has anybody done it?
No, absolutely not. That's another thing that I hate about it.
Not even LeBron.
That's what I hate about everybody.
He was the only person that came close.
That dog. Yes.
Who did they lose to? Was the Pistons?
Well, yeah, his third year in the league.
Well, the San Antonio Finals.
When he carried like Danielle Marshall.
He had Larry Hughes as his number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, Larry Hughes.
Zadrunas Agalskis over there in the corner could barely walk.
Exactly.
Number 11, he hit that thing in that corner, though, man.
Big Z's.
I know that name from Kobe Bryant courtside on Nintendo 64. I'm going to take y'all back on. What is his name?
Zadrunas Agalskis.
Yeah.
Like 7'3", maybe.
He was tall.
Yeah,
Man.
he was tall. I mean,
He could hit that corner shot. Though.
I believe he's in like the Cavs like Hall of Fame or something now.
So what?
Absolutely.
So Clay, what you got? How many you got him in 6? Warriors in 6?
He's got the Celtics, I think, huh?
No, I think it's Warriors. I'd be shocked if we leave Boston without a win. So I think worst case scenario, we're going home with it 2-2 or up 3-1. We've won 26 in 26 straight playoff series. We've won at least one road game, longest streak in NBA history. And the Celtics have been like shockingly bad at home this postseason. They're better on the road for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand it. But I'm gonna just be, I guess, less than optimistic and just say it's gonna be 2-2, and we come home, win Game 5, and then finish it off in 6.
I think the same thing.
I do too.
I don't think it goes 7. I think I'm with Clay. I think they're going to split in Boston. They're going to come back home. They're going to win it. And thinking about all the championships they've won in this dynasty, I think they only won one at home. I think they've only had one closeout game at home.
The first KD one was at home.
Was that when it was?
No.
No, it was in
the second
Cleveland.
KD
He cried. He cried at half court.
Because the first KD, we won the first 3, and then we lost Game 4. We lost Game 4 at Cleveland, and then came home and won it in 5.
Yeah, because they should have swept.
That's what it was. And then we swept them the next year.
They had the gentleman's sweep.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think they're going to split. They're going to come back to Oakland. They're going to finish them there, and then they're going to go back to Boston and just they're going to taste that blood in the water, and it's going to be too much.
I know nothing about the current league basketball. Like, I'm a very casual fan, but I just don't see the experience that Boston lacks overcoming this dynasty.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
And that's what it is. Let's not beat around the bush.
And it's a dynasty at the back end, but they're still good enough to do it.
I think Golden State, though, their Currys, Clays of the world kind of camouflage some of their. I don't like a lot of their role players that come off the bench. They have.
That's a hot take. They pull.
There's some good names per se. Gary Payton Jr. Obviously, I do like him. I like what he brings. I'm not a pool guy fan yet.
Yeah,
I think he kills you on the defensive end.
he does. He's awful on defense.
He's terrible, and Curry's not helping either. So when you can't. Those two.
I've got to take there.
Okay.
Steph's been probably twice the defender Klay Thompson's been this playoffs. Steph's been good.
Steph's defense, for me, just watching, like he's turned it up.
It's not 2015 anymore.
No.
Yeah, he's
lost
got
his
muscle.
Clay's lost
his
a step.
Yeah.
Those injuries.
He's turned into more of a one-way spot-up shooter guy.
Almost watching Clay now, he looks like he's thinking about that injury still. Like he doesn't look like
It's
he's
gonna take
confident.
time.
There's a
It
lot of
does.
stuff that goes into it.
It does.
One of the big things I see is his best thing is like when he had the 60-point game, he took 11 dribbles.
Yeah.
Now, I think with having 2 years off for rehab and being by yourself doing drills all the time, he didn't have that catch and shoot stuff.
It's different.
He dribbled more.
That's what I was about to say.
He's a better dribbler, but that isn't his game.
Yeah, and I think he's not really Klay Thompson right now, but I think with a normal offseason, like doing what he normally would do, hang out with Rocco and all that.
Absolutely. Ride his boat,
and then date beautiful women.
Hey,
and then he's come back ready next year.
That 11 dribble take, you're not getting that anywhere else. That's exclusive.
There you
To
go.
the Dirty Boot Sports.
I believe he probably watched that game if I had to guess.
yeah. Come on now.
Late at
Yeah,
night.
11 dribbles, 60 points.
So Clay's got Warriors in 6. I got Warriors in 6. Peyton, you got them in 7.
7. No. Yes, Warriors in 7.
Warriors in 7. Kyle.
My opinion doesn't matter. I'm going to say 6.
Celtics.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Okay.
Warriors. Okay. So we are a pro Warriors podcast.
Hope we're right.
I'm a
And
Warriors
I'm pulling
fan.
for Boston. I mean, I like some of their guys on their team.
I like Jason Tatum.
It's hard not to like.
I'm a dude
yeah,
guy.
it's hard not to like
And
Tatum.
then once you see Robert Williams about break a rim in Jonesboro High School, you got to become a fan.
Look, I mean, shout out to the local.
Shout out to Robert Williams, North Caddo, Vivian, Louisiana.
I do. I've always liked Horford, and I don't know why, but
He
I've
seems like a
always
nice guy.
he seems like a good dude, and he just seems to do both ends of the floor real well, and he's just a good team guy. Seems like, and Jaylen Brown, he's hard not to like.
Exactly.
Quiet, and just does
and honestly,
business.
Tatum's a quiet superstar too.
They are
Right now.
He's not a superstar.
Oh, that I've heard people say he's not a 1.
So
I'm a Clay.
He's a 1B or is he a 2?
He's a 1B.
Yeah,
I can see him being a 1B.
he's not going to win a championship by his doing. He's not Luka. He's not Ja. He's not Ja. He's not Jokic. He's not Giannis. He's not Steph, LeBron.
You don't
KD.
You don't think he's
like
Luka?
that?
No.
He ain't Luka.
No. I can say. Chance asked me this last night. He was like, "Who's the Celtics player that
He's gonna become like he's gonna start hating."
Yeah, because there's been
he
a player
hates
every
somebody.
series that I just despise.
Like Devin Booker, Luka.
Devin Booker is probably the least
He
favorite
hates.
in the
He
NBA.
hates Devin Booker. more
Devin
than
Booker
anybody.
made it easy though.
Booker's overrated.
I absolutely hate him.
Once you get in the Kardashian tree, you become
Yeah.
very hateable.
And
You hate yourself.
yes.
last series it was Luka. I've rooted for Luka his entire time in the league, and I'm like, now I hate him, and I don't. I think that what made me hate Luka was that he's so good.
He's
that
getting star treatment.
It just
too.
makes me mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that feeling with Tatum. Like that, Luka. Every time I'm like, he can go out there. We can stop every other player on the Mavericks team, and Luka might beat us.
Could Tatum change your mind though if he goes off this year and say Boston wins?
Well, I want him to go off because I think we do better I think we have a better chance if he goes off.
And that's something he brought up with the plus minus like that. The Warriors were like one of the first teams to really, really look at that.
That's
too.
the stat that I was alluding to earlier when I was
Yeah.
talking about Luka. You know, AI is that stat and how that affects the game.
Yeah, the Warriors. I remember whenever he first started watching, you'd see Steve Kerr walk over to the scores table, get a print off sheet. I'm like, Clay, what the heck is he doing? He said he's about to check the plus minus, and that's what they do. And the players even talk about it. Like Draymond talks about, oh, I'm a minus 12 tonight. That ain't good. I don't care if we won. That's not good enough. I was a problem. You know, we were losing every time I was on the court. You know, and I think what he said about Tatum being a minus 36, wasn't it?
Minus 36,
Or minus 28.
No, minus 36, the worst by any player in the NBA Finals history.
And that's from your quote unquote star. You know,
First team All NBA.
I do
deserve it.
and we don't have time to do it here, but I do want to take a dive into that stat and figure out how they.
Yeah,
It's
there.
telling,
how they-
man.
Yeah,
It's telling.
I mean, I feel like we're talking about some advanced baseball war numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to do a top 5 stars in the NBA list. I mean, if
Oh, it's coming,
Oh,
Peyton.
I love to do that.
It's coming, Peyton. It's
I
coming.
feel like that one could be
I can
real
do that
fun.
for sure.
I cannot wait to talk about the quarterbacks after a while.
Yeah, just to close out, I'll start wrapping up the NBA. I want to give a shout out to some of my Warrior guys. Gary Payton II finally came back after the extremely dirty play from Dylan Brooks. Played fantastic last night. I think he was 3 for 3 with making a 3.
But that's not why he's there.
Less than a month after breaking his elbow.
That's incredible.
Bielitsa.
Bajelka.
It's Bielitsa. he guarded Jason Tatum last night. I don't know how or why, but it worked. Kevon Looney, Warriors legend now, and he's 26. He's been incredible. He has not missed a game this entire season. I think last night was his 100th game.
His name just makes him sound like Looney. Like that sounds like.
And
And you look at him, he looks exhausted.
Love hearing the crowd, the PA announcer. You can just hear the loon. It's awesome. And just to throw a little bit more NBA news before we switch topics. The Lakers introduced a new coach today, Darvin Ham, Bucks assistant. And during the press conference, he said, "Russ is one of the best players our league has ever seen, and there's still a lot in the tank. So, Lakers, please sign Russell Westbrook to an extension on behalf of the Warriors.
You'll be done for the next 5 years.
Yes, please do it.
He'll be gone
I
in
beg.
about a month and a half. Probably he won't be back. Look, Mr. LeBron's not gonna let that happen. Coach LeBron,
That contract-
owner LeBron, whatever you want to call
Gee,
him.
That
LeBron
contract.
may want to go, huh?
LeBron.
Bron's going to go when
LeBron's
Bronny
going where
and-
Bronny
He's waiting
goes.
where Bronny. Yeah,
And I'm not gonna lie, I think that's awesome.
It's
It's awesome.
I think that's
pretty
awesome.
I think that's the G League.
Yeah.
I think it's Warriors pick 28. Yeah.
And then Clay has become a LeBron fan.
I'm not
Wait
gonna,
for that podcast.
I'm not going to talk bad about a teenager though. But
They say he's improving though.
yeah, but it's not fair, man. It's
No.
It's
poor
like
kid.
MJ's kids. I mean, he had what, 2 kids play D1 basketball.
And it was low level too, I think.
Well, we're Central Florida, maybe.
Yeah, Central Florida.
Yeah, Central Florida.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
dude, you're no slouch. You're playing for
No, it's
Central
still
Florida.
D1, but
Like, you're a baller.
if you're
Well,
Michael
when he
Jordan's kid,
played
you gotta be
there,
high.
UCF isn't. They weren't the
Yeah.
college football national champions and everything.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about
Oh.
like in the,
Don't get me started on that, Clay. Woo, man.
but in the grand scheme of things, like expecting children to measure up to their parents is crazy. I don't think Bronny minds appears because he's all over social media. I see him,
He's
all
making
over.
the most of it for sure.
So like he has to have like the utmost confidence, and I respect that in his game.
And he was spotted about 2-3 months ago wearing the LSU basketball shirt.
Well,
Just saying.
he's going to go to Duke. I'm sorry.
Coach K's gone.
It don't
Duke's going
matter.
down.
I think
LeBron wanted to go to Duke. He has been on record saying he would have went to Duke if he would have had to have gone to college, and that's where Bronny's going to go.
I think that was somewhat of my man Will Wade, but that's another separate podcast there. But
I don't know how to transition
Where's Dickie V at?
to baseball.
Dickie
Coming to Dickie V.
Oh gosh.
From those texts, I don't know how to transition to baseball, so I'm just going to do it because we've got to get rolling. But Chance, you're gonna have to carry us over to Major League Baseball and of course the Braves.
Yeah, guys, big week here this past week for the Bravos. They are finally starting to catch their stride. It feels like they've heated up here recently, especially after having a team meeting last either like Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. After losing 2 straight to the Arizona Diamondbacks,
I believe it was Wednesday morning.
Yeah, which one of those games was against Zach Gallen, and he has been absolutely phenomenal this year. So that was understandable. But that second game was definitely a winnable game that we should have and could have won. And I'll say this, I'm proud of my team for taking the initiative and finally being like, guys, yes, we're world champions, but that's over. That's done. You're only as good as your next championship. Somebody always said, like, which one's your favorite championship? And it's the old saying of the next one. So if the guys want that next one this year to happen, to repeat for the first time in MLB since like 2001 when the Yankees three-peated, I think it was.
Yeah, it's got to be.
They're going to have to step it up, and I'm not going to lie to you. I have faith in them, and I think they can step up. So, yeah, the Braves, though, since that day have been 5-0, and they're about to continue this stretch of playing teams under 500 and under a 50% win percentage. And that will be 12 straight games, guys.
While the Mets are stuck in that same stretch playing some much tougher competition.
Yes, the Mets are playing basically all above 500
San
teams.
Diego.
West Coast road trip.
Yes, they're hitting the West Coast road trip that we hit earlier in the year.
Yep.
Like, we're done with the Padres, which is huge because they don't have Tatis. And the Mets are actually having to play these teams now in warmer weather as well, which is big because the ball flies in warmer weather.
But they still split with the Dodgers.
They still split because the Mets
Are
are
for real.
good. And that's scary to say because there's always that saying in Braves country, the Mets are going to Mets.
Yeah.
You know, and they might still Mets it up later, but they look pretty solid this year. So that's it on the Braves
Well,
front.
I want to throw one more thing in on that.
Okay.
In that 5-0 stretch, back-to-back extra inning wins.
Which is big because we've been horrible since the Mickey Mouse rule
Yeah, the
has been
man fraud
implemented.
rule. Yeah.
The man fraud
Yeah.
rule has been implemented in MLB.
So
With,
in extra innings, you start off with a man on second
and no outs.
and no out. So that's what he means by the Mickey Mouse rule.
Yeah.
Now, your pitcher, closer, whoever's in at that time is not going to be charged with an earned run if they do score. But it just cheapens the game, in my opinion.
It's the international tiebreaker rule from like Little League and travel ball without the having the one out to start, which I honestly wish they would incorporate because let's say the Braves go out in the top of the 10th and they don't score, home team's at a huge advantage. They just lay down a bunt.
Yeah.
But
And speaking
teams
of,
don't do that now.
Speaking of cheapening the game, and I want to talk about this because I feel like it relates to the Braves specifically, is the tinkering with the baseball.
Yes.
It drives me crazy, and for those of you who don't know, like right now, it appears that we've got a dead baseball.
Correct.
So
and
they
a
can
slick baseball. They say.
So if it's slick and it's dead, what you're going to get is less spin rate, and then you're going to get not as much flight. Obviously, I can't stand it because for years and years I've heard the guys who I grew up watching, like Mark McGwire, talk about how they took performance-enhancing drugs, and no doubt he did, but how that ruined the game, how it put a stain on the game, but yet we're constantly messing with the baseball, messing with tradition. You know, I don't understand it. I hate it. I wish they would. I know they want to do everything handcrafted. I think that's overrated. Give me the same dadgum ball. I'm over here banging the table. Give me the same ball. I want the exit velocity.
Kyle has to stand up on his chair.
I want exit velo, okay?
We need it.
Specifically,
that's how you grow the game.
I think it's killing, our sluggers. I mean, what did we do last year? Duval led the league in RBIs.
Had 39 home runs. I want to say he was one away from 40.
That's right. Duval is sucking it up right now.
Yeah. Well, I can say...
I have a take on that, though. I think he has not been doing well because he's had to play center field.
Every day.
Every single game. And he is 34 years old, which, that's not really old in the real world, but that's old in baseball.
Yeah.
And that's old to play center field, and he is a type 1 diabetic. Yeah. And that has not been talked enough in Braves country, I don't believe, because that's a large toll, especially for a man who's probably about 225, 230. And he's not a fat 225. He's freaking jacked.
He is.
But that's a lot of miles that he has ran probably this year already that he has never done before. He's never played center field every day before this year, and he's 34 years old.
Yeah, and that's something that back in February, March area, I kept telling Chance, I was like, the Braves, we got Duval back. Yeah, we got Rosario back. Yeah, Acuna's coming back at some point. But what made them so good last year was, even with Acuna out, you had Duval, you had Rosario, you had Soler, and you had Jock Peterson. You had 4 guys that rotated in.
I wanted Jock back.
Yeah.
I did too.
So you have this 34-year-old that you're now putting in center field, telling him to play every day, and you have no option to rest him.
That's right.
Yep.
And last year, he could rest once a week, twice a week if he wanted to, because you had other guys that are pretty dang good that needed their at-bats. And that was a big thing that we didn't have. Michael Harris has come in now, Braves' top prospect. He's starting to play really good baseball that first week. I believe he batted 300.
That's a big ask for a rook, though.
Yes.
Especially skipping
Somebody
AAA.
skipped AAA. He's only had, I think it was 139 professional games.
And wasn't the
before
most
getting
highly
called up.
touted prospect coming up.
No, I think he was a 3rd-round draft pick, but
not that matters.
High school guy, right?
He was straight out of high school. Last year he turned, I think it was 20 at the beginning of the season, and people were like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, we went and watched him
deal.
beginning of May when we went and watched. We got to see the trophy and everything in Mississippi, and
the way he carried himself, you knew he was going to be a big league.
Yeah, but it was like May 5th, and he gets called up May 29th or something like that. We were there and we knew this guy's legit, but we had no idea this guy was coming up within a month.
Yeah, had no.
I was watching this guy hoping that he's going to be my starting center fielder in 2024
next year. But
and here's the thing on him too, we're going to get him hopefully to play a bigger role this year, but once
we just need a couple hits a week and
that's
a good
right,
center field.
And for a little while, because once they get a scouting report on the kid, I mean he's done with for a little while
for this season basically.
Yeah, and I mean that's what happened to Austin Riley. That's what happens to everyone.
Get us to the trade
anybody
deadline.
not named Acuna or Tatis or
well, Acuna even went through it his first full year. He wasn't as great. He was more of just
he couldn't hit the inside fastball.
Yeah,
that's why he's been.
He was more of a
much.
homer or a strikeout guy. Mm-hmm. Now he's incredible and strikes out barely.
They learn that you can't hit the inside fastball. What are you going to eat until you learn to hit the inside fastball?
They're going to find the hole in your swing.
That's right. And going back to the baseball thing, you're talking about a dead baseball. You're talking about these radical shifts that we see, and which are
going away next year.
Thank God.
Hallelujah.
And I'm obviously not a skipper. I'm not even a little league skipper. Okay, I don't even coach my kids' teams. I watch from the sidelines. But tell me that it would make more sense if you got a dead ball. You're not getting the exit velo. You got these crazy shifts. dude, check up on the bat, shorten the swing, put it where they
take
ain't.
your base hits. Man.
Take what they give you, nickel and dime them, death, get on base, play on base percentages. To me, I don't know. I don't understand the rationale behind the
what
team
do they
still
pay
playing
for?
that. Yeah.
What do they pay for? They pay for the long ball. They don't pay for the Tony Gwynns of the world to go out there and hit 350. They don't pay for it like they used to, and that's what the game has become, and I hate it.
I did. I love Tony Gwynn.
To be honest with you guys, I don't keep up with the MLB like I used to when I was a kid, but a lot of it's because you don't have the guys at the long ball. I grew up in the Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire era. Like, I mean, that's what
the
got
commercial.
me to the TV.
The commercial with Maddox and Smoltz, chicks dig the long ball.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I dig the long ball too. That's why I wish they could quit messing with the daggone ball. But I feel like we got to talk about the bullpen too. Braves bullpen has been
That blew my mind. I saw that
phenomenal
stat.
on this road stretch.
They're the number 1 rated bullpen in MLB still. We lost Tyler Matzik. We lost Luke
Who's
Jackson.
began throwing, by the way.
Kirby Yates still hasn't came back. We're throwing guys out there like Spencer Strider, Jackson Stevens, who was playing in Venezuela last year. Like,
hey, he was in the Mexico League, I think.
yeah, but like it's just random guys are going out there,
Yep.
and when you watch the games, it doesn't feel like they're doing that great. But we're the number 1 rated in the MLB.
Yeah. Which whenever we signed Kenley Jansen and Colin McHugh in the offseason, we're like, oh my god.
what does it do with the glasses?
Chavez.
Chavez.
Oh,
Yes.
Jesse Chavez. We
Can't forget
traded
about
for
him.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can't
we
forget
finally
about
got rid of Sean Newcomb for him this year.
Yeah.
And
What a trade.
anybody that can eat up innings whenever you need to, and he's been that.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that 5th spot in the rotation and starting rotation tightening up a little bit?
I'm glad
stretch.
we finally gave Strider an opportunity. And I understand why they did not want to, because he was basically fastball slider, but undoubtedly he had been working on his changeup a little bit and the like some side sessions. And honestly, yeah, he sucked it up the other day in Colorado, but his start in Arizona was phenomenal.
But dude, you're in Colorado though.
Exactly, you can't really hold that against him, but he walked a lot of guys. But
And how
yet
old is
again,
Strider?
you're pitching an altitude.
He's a young cat.
He
right?
was a
23,
4-year
24
college
maybe?
guy. He's
Yeah.
probably 24 probably.
So the Braves feel like all they do is reload at pitcher.
Yep.
I mean, we have one of the best young talents sidelined with a double Achilles injury.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for him to come back. He's projected to come back around the All-Star
And they're
break.
saying he's looking fine. Like,
For right now.
So it feels like the Braves just reload, and I think honestly, going back to the '90s, that's been our secret sauce.
Yep. It's
I
always
mean,
the
you know,
pitching.
we've had some memorable sluggers throughout the years, but it's always the pitching
And
that's over the top.
pairing that with a bullpen that you spend top dollar for, and then but then you also have guys that you just rejuvenate, like Tyler Matzik coming back from the yips, and then finding a Jackson Stevens from Venezuela.
Yeah.
Adding that factor into the great starting pitching just takes your team to that championship level.
and that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's you're gonna hit.
Yeah, let's talk about
Judge.
the best player in baseball right now, and his name's not Mike Trout, surprisingly.
Mike Trout is over his last 26.
Yes.
Yeah. Best player in baseball right now is named Aaron Judge, and we're talking about a dead baseball. This man has hit 21 home runs this season. Yes, he is playing in a glorified Little League ballpark in Yankee Stadium, and probably I could go hit one out in right field.
Yeah.
He has tailored his swing to hit it out oppo to right field. But still, 21 home runs, 42 RBIs. That's no slouch.
League leading OPS at 1.059. League leading runs scored. His home runs and his slugging percentage are both league leading. 677 on the slugging.
And real quick, if you don't know what OPS stands for, that is basically the plus minus of baseball. That is a huge stat. Now it's how a lot of people get paid hitter wise. That is your on base percentage plus your slugging percentage. So are you getting on base and are you hitting extra base hits basically?
Right.
And
anything above 800.
Yeah,
is
mid 800s, that's where you're wanting your average big league ball player to be. The man's in the thousands.
Yeah, your
That's sensational.
superstars hitting the thousands.
He's also sitting at a 2.8 WAR a third of the way through the year. So I mean,
Which means wins above replacements, by the way.
yeah. So that's he's
another big stat.
he'll win you 2.8 games in this stretch, more than the average guy at his position.
And guys, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, he's probably win MVP because he's
should.
been doing it for nonstop 2 months. I don't really see him slouching. He'll hit a slump, I'm sure, midsummer, but my gosh.
It's the Yankees. That's what I'm
He's
gonna
the
say.
Yankees, and if the Yankees are winning, their best player is going to be
He's
the
the
top of
Yankees,
the
but
game.
he's in a contract year.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, we did not mention he is doing all of this after saying no thank you to a $230.5 million extension that he was offered. And he said, no thank you, Mr. Cashman. I'm going to bet on myself, and I'm going to get the real cash.
Dude,
And
I get nervous.
Man.
I've never gambled more than $20 at the casino. This man's like, I got
Yeah, I'm good.
$230 million on myself.
And this is a big dude. He's like 6'7", 6'8", and he's kind of ripped, which people say is not good for baseball. As Giancarlo Stanton, who's had all kinds of injuries. You need that flexible fat, they say. And he's had some injuries every now and then, but he's been really healthy right now, and he is playing phenomenal baseball.
What kind of contract do you all think he's going to get?
He'll be above $300 million
But
if this keeps up.
How old is he?
He's almost 30.
Because whenever he came
almost
in,
And I was wondering what the time frame is going to be. On
He is
it.
almost
Is it
30.
going to be an Albert Pujols
This
type
was
contract all over
The
again?
contract he turned down, I believe, is supposed to be for 8 years.
And
It's supposed to be an 8-year
speaking of
extension.
locally, like guys, y'all realize we could have watched him at Louisiana Tech play in conference play.
Yeah, did he go to Fresno
was in-
State?
yeah.
Fresno. Okay.
Wait, no. Was it Fresno or was it
Long Beach,
help me out here, Peyton?
San Jose.
I thought it was Fresno.
I think he went to
It may be Fresno.
I could be wrong, though.
I mean, Fresno
But
State
yeah.
was a whack team.
Yeah, we could have watched him play though.
But he's a phenomenal ball player, and I hate to admit it, but best player in baseball is on the Yankees right now, and that sucks to say. So
I've always hated the Yankees.
I'll believe it.
Y'all think
whenever I see it.
y'all think he'll resign with the Yankees?
absolutely, they can't let him get away.
I don't know.
Can't let him get away.
They're going to spend the money.
Only other team that might pay for that would be
What?
the Mets, the Angels, or the Dodgers.
So they were going to offer
That's how it
him
goes.
$17 million for this year and then $30 million for the next 7. Giancarlo is getting 29. Garrett Cole's getting 36 a year. These are the highest two paid guys on the Yankee side. What is he asking for? What is he looking for?
I mean, I'm thinking he'll go. You see the Lindor that's what 10 years,
It's-
$300 million.
It's $300 million.
That's like the base deal, but he's
the
not.
stars.
He's not 26. He's not 27. Like this guy was 26 when he made his MLB debut in like
And
2017.
He's not going to be your everyday shortstop, which is honestly one of the most important
Yeah.
positions in baseball.
He's going to be.
He's going to become a DH pretty
I was
soon.
just about to say that he's going to be your right
And-
fielder for a couple more years, and then he'll be a DH by the time he's 34.
Yeah, he's playing center field every now and then right now, but that's not going to be him, especially when their top prospect, Jason Dominguez, finally makes it to the pros,
Yeah.
which he's probably about 2 years away. But Giancarlo, like I said, he's had so many injury concerns.
Joey Gallo sucks.
Joey Gallo sucks horribly. I'm so glad the Braves did not trade for him last year like I wanted them to. And, yeah, I think he's a DH in probably about 2 or 3 years. So do you want to pay your DH that much money? I don't know, but yet again, it's the Yankees. They have infinite money with the Steinbrenner.
I think it comes
so,
down to the Yankees and the Angels.
Yeah.
The Angels, if they can find a way to get rid of the
Angels
Rendon
They're
contract.
dying to compete.
Well, yeah, the thing is, if they can get a way to get rid of that Rendon contract and then somehow give Judge his big deal while keeping enough money to give Ohtani the world, then they'll
Ohtani
they'll do it.
Are you
Ohtani
talking
ain't
about
doing
about
much.
bringing the Judge to Anaheim?
With Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that would be the greatest show. You know,
Well, yeah, everyone thought that when Rendon signed too.
That is correct. But speaking of the Angels,
that was a good transition.
everybody thought the Angels were going to be phenomenal after they started out 27-17 this year, which honestly is really good for them because they've really sucked it up the past few years. I mean, like I was saying earlier, Mike Trout's been the best player in baseball since he basically got to the pros and stayed. But they've lost 11 straight games.
Well, they went up to New York. Was it at New York or at L.A.?
They were at New York.
And they got perfect gamed almost twice out of 4 games.
Yep.
The Yankees just went on and threw a incredible pitching exhibition.
But you're not hitting the ball.
Yeah.
You're not hitting the ball. And you're supposed to have the best player in baseball with Mike Trout and then the second coming of Jesus and Ohtani.
Yeah.
You know, and listen to this. Listen to this stat right here. During that 11-game stretch, they've been outscored 77-35.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
It's going to be hard to beat a team when you're giving up an average of 7 runs a game.
And when Mike Trout's doing nothing.
0 for 26.
0 for 26.
Longest stretch of his career. without a hit.
So in Thursday's game, here's another stat that I thought was crazy. Ohtani generated just 3 swings and misses in 75 pitches thrown. He had as many in 27 games this season.
Wow.
3 whiffs in 75 pitches. That's what's going on there, and you got to think about
baseball.
Is he tired? Is it the baseball?
Ooh. It's the baseball, and I think he's tired. I remember talking to you before we started the podcast, whenever we did, and I can't remember, it was a couple months ago, and I said I'm not an Ohtani guy right now.
Yeah,
I don't believe him yet. I don't believe in it yet. I know people think he's Babe Ruth, but he's had one good season out of 3, and then now look how he started this year
Even
off.
Babe Ruth didn't do it at the same time.
No.
He was a pitcher, then he was a hitter.
Nobody
He never
has
did
ever
it
done
at the same time. And there's such a demand that's placed on a guy to pitch and to hit, and then you got to have him on the base path. How can you not have his speed out there?
Yeah, I mean, he's a 6-tool athlete, you know. He's not the normal 5-tool. He's got a whole other 6-tool, but that 6-tool doesn't matter if the other 5 are not being used properly and being effective. I think his batting average is like 246 or 247 right now, so that's less than a hit every 4 at-bats. Yeah, he could hit the long ball, but if he's not hitting the ball, period, it's not going to matter.
And I think one of the things about him is, he's something the league has quite literally never seen, and he's the international superstar. He's probably the most popular baseball player in the world.
And he should
by
be.
by landslide.
Deserved the MVP last year unanimously, like he did. He deserved it. He put together a season we'll never see again.
I think Vladdy Jr. should have got it, but the thing is, he's doing the things that he's doing, playing pitcher and outfield and DH, doing all that. He's, like you said, he's incredibly fast, but his team doesn't really win that much, or they haven't since he's been there.
The Angels, I never can figure out how they struggle.
Yeah, they don't do it.
It's because
they have the talent
and they have the LA money.
Yes, like
You know, it doesn't make sense.
Nothing. I mean, like you've had
It always comes to the pitching.
you gotta have pitching. If you don't have pitching, you don't have anything.
And they can't get it.
How long? I mean, they got the money. Go get the pitching.
They got Noah Syndergaard, and people thought somebody resurrected him this year. Ain't heard his name in about a month.
Yeah.
You know,
It takes more than one though. It doesn't.
Yeah,
you need a
absolutely.
rotation. You need.
They
a bullpen.
thought
You
they
need
finally found their ace.
What
They had Garrett
Is
Richards.
their
for a
farm
while.
system probably pretty
That is
bad?
something I was going to mention. If you notice, the LA teams and the New York teams, they always claim to have some of the better farm systems, but they never groom them.
Well, the
That's
Dodgers.
Because they
Atlanta.
trade them away.
But they trade them away.
They trade them away because
Yeah.
they're always in quote unquote
That's
win
Arizona-
now mode.
Arizona has.
You know,
farm system.
Unless
That's
you're
what
the
always
Dodgers.
happens. Unless you're the Dodgers, they
They have 20 players every year
Yeah.
that are better than anyone.
and they build them up, but then they still trade some of them, and then you still have some that make it up there. But
They
if
trade
you
them
notice, that's
because
the trend with them.
they only play. You can only start on their roster if you're a former MVP.
Absolutely, got
So
to
how,
have
how can you win MVP if you're in the Dodgers?
What I was going to say about him is that he's who he is, and he's on the team that he's at in LA. So if he just goes out there and does average to barely above average pitching and hitting, he's going to be in the MVP conversation every year.
He should be.
Absolutely.
I think some people want to talk about. Okay, so wins above replacement, I think, is an important stat.
Yeah.
And it's a stat that I actually somewhat understand.
Yeah.
With the new
analytics
that we're in baseball, and I feel like you got to count his hitting WAR and his pitching WAR, and you got to combine them, and you got to see how valuable he is as a piece to a franchise. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's fair that some people are like, well, he's an okay pitcher and he's a
When he's on, he is
a-
probably the
a
most
really good hitter.
valuable player in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you take it to that extent with talking about absolute value, he is.
I mean, they
probably
create
the most valuable.
rules for him.
They did. They have the Ohtani rule now because of him. And
If they would just quit messing with the balls.
yep.
So one more thing
It's my rant. It's my hill. I'm down.
to slide into LA. It's someone that has been rumored to be an Angel because everyone gets rumored to be a LA player, a New York player. It's Juan Soto. Juan Soto, last year, people thought he should have won MVP even though he was 20 games out of first place. He this year is batting 85 points lower on his batting average than last season after he batted, I believe it was 313 last year. And people were like, He's the best hitter since Ted Williams.
Yeah, they started calling him the next Ted Williams.
You can't do that. I hate
You can't do it. And I'm not going to lie.
You're not even Tony Gwynn right now.
They always bring up these three. They always bring up Fernando Tatis, Juan Soto, and my boy El Abusador, Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah.
And the question's always, who do you want to start with? Who do you want to start your franchise with? Who's going to be the best in a decade? And I've always said Acuna because I'm a Braves fan. You got to. But if you really look at it, Soto is the better pure hitter out of all three of those people.
But
what else can he do?
he's a DH.
He is a glorified DH and will be a DH in probably about 5 years.
Yeah.
Because he cannot play the corner outfield. They might move him to first base, but they got Josh Bell. He's been playing pretty well this year. But he's not as good as people think he is.
And Tatis is the same thing.
And yes, he's an amazing hitter. And yes, he does the little shimmy that I wish somebody would throw at his neck when he did. But he ain't shimmying a whole lot this year.
Why did they throw it Acuna but not at Soto?
Because everybody hates Acuna because he's so good. Like the Marlins, oh my gosh.
I hate him.
They hit him every year. I think they've hit him 9 times in his 4-year career, which is more than anybody else. But you got to pitch him inside.
And a side stat about those three, if you, and I don't know how many of you collect baseball cards or follow that market, but I've always been about baseball cards since I was a little kid. And the Soto market right now, so if you're talking, rookie cards, flagship rookie cards, Soto is higher than Acuna and Tatis, but I think it's only because of the injuries. Because DHs
he has
don't
been
sell.
healthy. That is his thing.
You need shortstops, you need center fielders, you need flair. And I really feel like when we get done with everything, as long as those other two guys can stay healthy, it's going to be those that we're talking about, and not so much Soto.
Yeah, so
that's a hot take for a lot of people there.
What I want to bring up about him, he's batting. He's a career 300 hitter. He's batting like 225 this year. He's leading the league in walks, so he's almost getting the Barry Bonds treatment. I think he's beaten Matt Olson in second place by like 10 walks. He has no protection behind him because he's on the Nationals. They suck. They have nothing else.
They have Josh Bell. He's had a better year than he had about a year or two ago.
But it's Josh Bell.
But it's Josh Bell. I mean, you're still not going to let Soto beat you, you know?
They don't have that Anthony Rendon they had whenever they went on a World Series run. There's been trade rumors about Soto for a long time because he's in Washington. It's not Los Angeles. It's not New York. It's not Chicago. It's not Texas. It's Washington. They don't have that money to pay this guy probably 10 years. I'd say $330 million.
He'll get the biggest contract in baseball.
So people, they've been like, is he going to get traded at the deadline? This Washington team, they've already lost playoff hopes. Do they get traded for probably 5 top prospects from any team in the MLB? Or do you keep him, give him every bit of money that you have nothing around him for the next 10 years, and just be like, oh, we have Juan Soto. So what would y'all do in that situation? Would you want
He's going to find the GM.
Would you want to get?
He's going to this past off season.
You have a farm system
now. His trade value has probably dropped a little, not a lot, because he's still Juan Soto.
Yeah,
but I would have got rid of him.
You have a farm system that isn't great, so
you're not going to win for at least 3 or 4 more years.
Do you want to trade him for 5 top prospects? Just say hit the reset button. We won a World Series 3 years ago. Y'all deal with that for a little while. We'll be back in 5 years. Or do you keep him, give him all the money, have that superstar, and waste his career? What would you do if you're the GM?
If I'm the GM, I'd trade him. I really would.
I'm getting more than 5, though.
Oh, you get as much as you can. Yeah. Because, like you said, he's going to have the biggest contract.
Yeah.
And that's something that he's not going to be able to compete with. Like, whenever they compare the money and earnings, like with Tatis, Acuna, and Soto, Acuna took a huge pay cut. He already signed a 10-year extension I think it was after his rookie year.
Shout out to the Braves.
Shout out to the Braves. Locked him up for I think around $15 million a year.
I was at the Zaxby's drive-thru in Ruston when he signed it.
It's going to be an absolute bargain.
10 years, $100 million.
Mm-hmm. And he's another guy. He's turned down extensions the past couple of years.
And then they paired up Acuna with his best friend Ozzie for 7 years, $35 million. Yep. Like incredible deals for 2 of the top 5 guys in their positions in the MLB that are playing for half of what Anthony Rendon's getting in Los Angeles to be nothing.
To be a bum, yeah.
The Braves, that's why they won a World Series. That's why they can pay $20 million for a reliever.
But to be fair, Rendon's put together a borderline Hall of Fame career. I say borderline. I don't think he's there. I mean, but if you're looking at if you're looking at WAR, like he's right on the cusp.
It was Albert Pujols, except the first 10 years weren't Hall of Famer. Pujols was probably a Hall of Famer before he went to LA.
Yeah.
Rendon probably wasn't before he went to LA.
Yeah, I agree.
And then what's he done in LA? Like it's just.
Oh, and shout out to Pujols. He's chasing 700 home runs.
Heck yeah, I hope
if he hits 700, that'd be absolutely awesome.
Go ahead, old man, and I say old man because I don't know exactly how old he is. I don't think anybody does.
No one does, yes.
He's in his 40s.
That's a story.
Yeah, nobody knows.
We could talk about that on another podcast.
So I think that's it for baseball talk, guys. Want to move on?
Yeah, now we're going to jump over to our arguably favorite topic, and that's going to be the NFL, specifically the Saints.
What an offseason it's been, too, for the Saints,
oh,
huh?
Man, juicy.
Wow, juicy. Speaking of juice. Yes, no, the Saints have, I guess you could say, start a new chapter. You know, when we lost Breeze, when he retired last year, you know, you think, well, that's okay. Peyton's still in the same, you know, he's still leading us. But then when Peyton retires after this year, it was like, whoa. Is this a start over, or are we just, you know, blowing it up? But apparently Mickey Loomis is not blowing it up. Apparently he is still going all in and believes in this roster that's built. A question I had for y'all, though, the hire Dennis Allen, were y'all happy with it? Did y'all want to see somebody else in that position? Or
I don't think you're ever happy when you just bring up a guy in-house, even though most of the time that is the right move.
And my thing too is when doing with Allen, I mean, he kept the core rest of the staff together.
Yeah.
In a way that scares me a little bit because I would think I would want my guy to bring in some of his own guys. But I do get, because I have circled here, the one thing the Saints has really changed, I would say, obviously since Peyton's been there, was it 15 years ago, 16 years ago?
2006.
Yeah.
I graduated high school that year.
Yeah, that was next year. Yep.
Long time.
Is culture, and I think that's, and you see even in the free agents this offseason, Tyrann Mathieu, Javar Swain, the Honey Badger himself, Landry. I feel like that with DeMario Davis, Cam Jordan, that locker room is just you feel like a close knit, good guys on and off the field.
And players in the NFL will talk about that. They'll talk about how they don't like playing for New England because they don't like that, you know, that style of coaching, that style of, you know, practice, but they love New Orleans.
Yes.
They love to play that. Now, I don't know if they view New Orleans as a big city to go out and do stuff. I think it's a massive city because I'm from Jackson Parish. But I would probably be more comfortable in somewhere like Green Bay or Buffalo. But, you know, so I don't know how big of a draw it is there like L.A. would be or New York. But as far as locker room culture, guys love New Orleans. They want to play there.
They do. And it just seems the new free agents, we keep getting good ones year in, year out. But it also helps with the draft. I mean, I feel like every year
we draft good guys.
We draft good, like we just draft good dudes.
Yeah.
Like you don't see any, you know, when Mel Kiper's on there. Well, he's been arrested. He's, you know, got kicked out of this school.
Yeah.
They're always just good.
Marshawn was questionable.
Well, he was questionable, but the talent was so good there. I think and it was a need that we needed
He's
bad.
a Hall of Fame lock, I think.
I mean,
once he's gotten to New Orleans, you haven't heard a single thing about him.
Right? No, exactly right.
No, hold on now. He did have a gun charge that.
Everybody went away. Hey, who slipped that under him? You know what I mean? Didn't know that was there.
Well, and I think that was the officer helping him out a little bit, you know, as he should. But since then, that's been his only slip up.
I mean, when they drafted Taylor out of Tennessee, Alante Taylor.
Yes.
When I was reading up on him, he's 3-time SEC academic All-Honor. He was on the SEC Football Leadership Council twice. Like, I mean, they're drafting these guys that they bring.
And he's a hybrid corner safety. He can do what we need
to a secondary that is loaded.
And he's supposed to be like a outstanding special teams guy.
Yes,
which that's something that you look and you're like, oh wow, 3rd round pick for a special teamer. That's stupid, but Then you go back and look at the Patriots dynasty.
Well,
Bill did that every year.
They're glue guys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he went to Tennessee as a receiver.
Yeah.
He played quarterback in high school. I mean, so that just shows you his versatility, his smarts on field. Like, I mean,
He's big. He's strong.
He's big. He's strong, and those are the guys that they just seem to really hit on real well. Another question that I have for y'all, this could be a big debate. The free agency. So we sign Marcus May.
Yeah.
We signed the Honey Badger.
Yep.
Okay. You got CD Deuce already there. You got Lattimore. I mean, you got Paulson. I can't ever remember how to pronounce his last name. Adebo.
Yeah.
Who I think's a sleeper. I think
he was pretty good.
Better and better.
Pretty good.
I think. But okay, you see the secondary now. PJ Williams, who I think always fills the role that we need. It seems like. I mean, I can't believe we keep getting him for the league minimum every year.
I mean, for a fourth or /third corner, like he's just a
and
solid
he's versatile. Guy. He could go safety. He could go outside corner. He goes inside.
He'll get you 1 or 2 picks a year,
exactly.
And you'll be like, all right, he's there.
And he's always there. He's always healthy for it. He's ready. And then you have who me and actually Kyle were talking about earlier today, Smoke Monday. You know, unrestricted guy coming in the secondary who the Honey Badgers said he was high on.
Yeah.
Really liked what he brought to the locker room. But my question is this secondary better than the secondary last year?
So
it's hard to replace Marcus Williams.
So who all did we lose? We lost Marcus Williams.
Malcolm Jenkins, who I think people kind of forgot what he did on the field, leadership-wise, but two, he shut down every tight end we played. That's why Gronk. Every time we had successful with Tampa was because he shut Gronk down.
So we've got Marcus Williams, Malcolm Jenkins. We lost a corner, right? Which one was it? Roby?
No, Roby's still there.
Roby's
They resigned him. They resigned him.
Okay.
So, but they're saying that he might not make the cut.
Yeah.
This is what our room's looking like right now. You've got Marcus May, and I'm just going to holler out some statistics while I'm at it. When this guy's healthy, he's 80+ tackles.
Yeah, what I was about to say is
he's an 80 tackle guy.
He can cover Marcus Williams. Mm-hmm. I think he can do that similar production. It's just he had the Achilles injury. Was it last year?
He was drafted before,
and he's a 3-year, $28 million versus a 5-year, $100 million.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the thing about Marcus Williams that shocked me a little bit, I didn't realize he was 30.
Yeah,
wow,
that's crazy.
What was he drafted at? Like 24, 25?
See, I thought he was coming off his rookie contract when we signed him. And I started looking at it. I was like,
did we give him like a little 3-year deal or something?
Give him a 3-year deal. 3-year, $28.9 million, I think, to be exact. So I was shocked that he was 30, though. Because, I mean, you got the Honey Badger who's, sitting there at 32. So, I mean, we went.
He's getting up there.
Yeah. I mean, Marcus Williams was in his prime. Now, Malcolm Jenkins wasn't.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you take a little, and then
So I think you look at it as Marcus May comes in as the Marcus Williams, which Marcus Williams is a better player, obviously.
But Marcus May, I guarantee you, will be a better tackler than Marcus Williams.
Is he a better?
We're talking about.
Well, we can't go there.
We're not talking about it.
Can't go there. That hurt. I don't know if I'm meant to do that or not.
Yeah.
That was a rough night.
Okay, is he going to be better over the next 3 seasons?
Who is going to be
Williams or May?
Who's he going to be?
I would say Williams.
Yeah. I think Williams is the better player.
Especially now he's at Baltimore. Like, I think he
fits that perfect.
Yeah, he fits perfect.
What I look at is Marcus Williams and Malcolm Jenkins or Tyrann Mathieu and Marcus May. I think Tyron's a step above Jenkins.
I think we're better.
I think we're better.
And look, I know y'all don't want to talk about him, but Sorensen is a 60 tackle guy.
Yeah.
Is he gonna see much field time though?
I don't know.
He's become a great special teamer.
He may be one that's on the bubble. Does he play special teams as a vet, a heavy vet?
I'm pretty sure he does.
I'm pretty sure he played in the Kansas City.
Yeah, he did Kansas City. So I mean, I think he would there.
For him being our 4th, 5th safety.
Yeah,
it's solid. It's solid.
That's not bad.
Because Tyronn's going to play some nickel or a lot of nickel.
Well, but you got CD Deuce.
He doesn't have to.
He is that.
See, CD Deuce is that.
I love him.
I love CD Deuce. He's the guy that you love because he's on your team. You hate him if he's not on your
Exactly.
team.
You might hate him.
He's Draymond Green on the football field.
You might hate him if you're Mike Thomas, though, and punch him in the face.
Well, that was. They're boys now. I'm sure they talked that one over.
These
but-
Saints players are just saints to Peyton. They're all just saints.
This is his baby.
On the field, off the field.
I feel like that secondary last year we really got spoiled by, and I don't think we realized how good they were.
Here's some stats on these corners, man.
Look what
Marshawn 3 picks, 19 deflections. PJ 3 picks, 5 deflections. Adebo 3 picks, 8 deflections. Roby 1 and 5. I mean, dude, they get in and get after the ball.
They do, absolutely.
They put the ball on the turf, and they obviously pick it off a lot too. That's a lot of interceptions.
It's a lot of interceptions. You know, people keep thinking that Roby's not going to make. I don't see how he doesn't make it. Because where's your depth at the cornerback?
So you have Lattimore, Adebo,
Roby,
that's your big.
Now,
three.
I don't
PJ
know.
Williams.
Now you got Taylor. You got Taylor.
PJ and Taylor.
But PJ's behind CD Deuce. I don't think PJ's outside. We've been through that.
Yeah.
We've been down that road.
We're not going.
It's not pretty.
That's the Ken Crawley revolving door.
He's exactly right.
You know?
Exactly right. Jason David type.
Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like PJ could go outside if you need him.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if Taylor, if he's a true outside corner.
I think he's just.
I
think he's another CD Deuce. I
Yes.
think he's another PJ Williams, Tyrann Mathieu. This is something. I think it's a good thing that we don't know what some of these guys are almost.
Yeah,
they're so
Because
versatile.
you can play Tyrann at strong, you can play him at nickel, you can line him up on that tight end. Yeah, he's 5'9", but he's done that.
I don't know if y'all have noticed this. You need good DB depth because there's always one or two that pulls a hamstring.
Injuries.
They are always a hamstring away.
They're
you're
the
4
most-
and 5, and you're 4 and 5 wide.
They're the most explosive athletes on the field. They have to be in nickel and dime in this wide open offense that we now have. You
quick
gotta
twitch
have them.
muscles,
You
man.
gotta have them. You gotta have them.
I agree.
Wide receivers
You got
can
teams-
prepare their body
look-
and be ready for the quick routes they have to run. DBs, they have to react to that. And that's how they pull so much
Look
stuff,
at the Super
man.
Bowl champs, the Rams. Look how much depth they had at
Yeah.
receiver. Now look, and we can probably transition at this point. You
Hey.
talk about playing us
Woo.
Yeah.
and our receiver depth.
Woo.
Thomas,
Woo. Woo.
Juice,
Best of my lifetime.
Olave.
Not even close.
Woo!
And can I Callaway with that group? I think it's going to be phenomenal.
Yes.
Exactly. I think so
I
too.
really like Callaway.
So wait, you're telling me that our undrafted guy that was a number 1 receiver last year can be our 4?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
What's his name?
Like we're loaded.
What's his
now.
name this year? He changed it, right?
No, we're talking about Harris. That's Deontay Harris.
Oh yeah, he changed
Harris
his
is
name.
gone.
No.
He's not
No,
going.
he changed his name
I
to
thought it
Hardy.
was the
It's
Giants.
Hardy.
He changed it to
Hardy.
Hardy.
He's Hardy?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's just going
Hardy.
to change your last name.
Well,
I think it's
his
something with Ball or
stepdad.
something. Yeah.
His stepdad's last name's Hardy, and he's who raised him.
Well, I apologize, Deontay.
Hey, much love to the step.
Hey,
about that.
man, and absolutely, it's a great video if y'all want to watch it because he videoed it telling his stepdad.
I need to
when
see
he-
that.
when he changed
I
his
need to
name.
see that. Well,
It
that's
was
awesome.
phenomenal. It was
All right,
awesome.
well, I feel better now because talk about electric.
Well,
Oh my
Olave and Harris on the outsides when you got Thomas and Landry and the going under
Yeah.
the middle.
Talking about a speed differential.
Deontay is top 2 kick returner, punt returner in the league right now.
Yeah.
And I don't
If
know.
not
if-
number 1.
Speaking of undrafted guys, they have an undrafted guy they got out of Nickel State that is actually from New Orleans, went to Edna Carr, and they are really high on DeJane Dixon.
This is your
his
guy.
name. This is my guy. This is my guy.
He will take him in the 15th round fantasy draft this year.
Hey.
Mark Parker got $2.
6'3", 205.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got
That's
size.
That's a size.
He's a special teams guy. I think he's going to make that run.
Hometown kid that's going
I
to fight to
think-
be on that roster.
That's right, hometown kid, and
He'll be a gunner on special teams.
and they say he's a really good blocker. So please,
Dude, he's got all the
please,
special
Dixon,
team
please take Traquan Smith's spot, please.
Oh,
Because
great.
Traquan,
But he has shown so many little flashes.
I mean, he caught
that's
the
the
record.
problem.
I
breaker.
have believed
That's
in him
why-
so much.
hey,
Yeah.
look, let me tell you a little story. So, good friends of mine have season tickets to the Saints, and she is actually one of our pharmacists at our store, and she texted me when they were down there, and there was a silent auction, and she said that she gave me showed me a picture, and she said these are real expensive, but what about this one right here? And so I zoomed in the picture, it was Traquan Smith, his rookie year, and I said, put it down for us. A helmet, sign helmet, Traquan Smith. I said he's going to be the next best player for
I
the
thought
Saints.
he was too.
I said I feel good about it or whatever.
UCF, right?
Yeah, UCF. So she,
National champion. Big
so,
body.
so Brittany, she puts the offer down. Texts me later. She said I won it. That night, he caught Drew Brees' pass.
Yep. That's what it was just
Monday Night Football.
Caught Monday Night Football.
Record.
And I said, "See, I'm telling you, he's going to be the next great Saint."
One of the few times the Saints made me cry when they won the Super Bowl, and I think I shed a tear that day.
I know I did.
Guys, I named my kid Drew. All right, so
and I don't know if he's caught another ball since.
Not many.
It's not been many.
But
he's a good blocker. I mean, if you listen to the commentary, he's a heck of a blocker.
And let me tell you, there's some Saints people who are tired of hearing that good blocker.
I know I am. Okay,
now let's talk about the guy that's going to be dishing out that ball.
Ooh.
Jameis.
Ooh.
That is a hot topic.
Ooh.
Because there's a lot of question marks. And if you would have told me, hey, man, you get to replace Drew Brees with one of the few guys that's in the 5,000-yard club with Brees, I'd have been like, oh, my God, dude. We got Matthew Stafford. That's who's going to replace him. Then you're like, number 9. No, he threw 30 interceptions last year. And I was like, oh, God, it's Jameis. It's Jameis. And we know him very well, obviously, because we've watched him play twice a year since he came into the league. Yep. And, I've got a few juicy stats for y'all on Jameis in my notes here. And he's got some high points for sure, but then he's got some question marks, if I can find it. So here's the high points. Obviously, 2019 he had 5,109 yards, 33 touchdowns, not too shabby, 30 picks. That's tough. He averaged 319 yards per game. He was sacked 47 times, which is a good bit. His completion percentage was hanging out right around 61%. Now,
which is not bad.
So you got to talk about that offense.
Not great.
And the way that they just, Bruce Arians just aired it out, whatever. That could be the reason for him not protecting the ball, throwing 30 picks.
I wonder what their record was that year.
Piss poor.
Piss poor. So
really?
On his
can't remember.
He had a couple
5,000.
2019 Bucks. We don't have internet service, so I don't know if we can look it up.
He had a couple. I mean, I think they were never like under 5 years.
7
5
and 9.
wins.
Were they 7 and 9 that
They
year?
were never under 5 wins with him, but they were like never above 8.
But see,
They were stuck in the middle.
They're incredibly
Yeah.
average. But you're talking about doing that with a team that Brady immediately.
Yeah, but here's
Who's the GOAT?
well one of the one of the things you mentioned was the sacks, 47. That's pretty big.
That also happens when you're holding on to the ball.
And you're trying to throw it downfield.
Well, and you had an O-line that, you look at the Bucs now and you're like, they're one of the best lines in the league. They didn't have that.
That's right. They all wanted to come play with Brady.
Yes.
That's right.
They took pay cuts. They drafted Tristan Wirth round 1, who's probably one of the top 3 tackles in the league, immediately.
That's true.
Then you have all these, Ryan Jensen, Ali Marpet. They all took pay cuts.
To play with Tom Brady.
And that's the Brady effect.
And they drafted a first rounder at Iowa.
Yeah.
I mean,
Think about
they
the
invested that to
offensive
Brady.
line. The
Winston
Saints
never got
have
that.
Exactly.
Now
He's about to have
here-
a great offensive line in New Orleans.
Now
Yes.
his stats.
Is he?
I think he is.
Yeah, I think he is. His stats in 2019 have some question marks, but that's not the most alarming to me. What bothered me, and he did well in his time that he has had the opportunity to start and play by himself, not without our gadget guy playing with him. I'm talking about games Jameis has started. We're going to be easy on him.
I hate
On
Taysom
our
Hill.
Mormon, we got to be easy on him
Hate
because
him.
I love him. But here's what's
said
alarming. 59% completion percentage, only 1,170 yards, only 167 yards per game in 7 games with the Saints. Now he only suffered 11 sacks, but he did have 14 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
But I felt like last year Peyton babied him. And I
Those
don't know
first-
why.
That Packers game, they really
Dude,
did.
I mean, like I was at the
But
I was at the
why?
game.
But-
I was
but
at
why?
I was at the Giants game
Why are you babying a guy that's been in the league?
because
like he
I
has
think
and had
he
success?
that 30 interception year sticks in everybody's head.
I think
We
they're
all-
trying to get his feet
And
wet.
he was trying not to. Yeah, absolutely. Because I think Jameis, he probably looked back on those films when he threw those 30 and realized it was it's kind of a mental thing. I mean, it's just
I think a lot of that was the offense that were in.
Yeah,
the style of play. I don't.
Well,
think,
Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't. He's a sling it.
You're gonna sling it.
He's a sling it. But Peyton, I've never seen him be that conservative with a quarterback. Which he had Drew. I mean, so we were spoiled by that. But I mean, it was kind of hard to watch sometimes.
Well, he had Drew, but he also had Michael Thomas.
And
he didn't have receivers.
He had
you throw
Thomas,
Jameis
Landry,
out here.
all these guys he's gonna have this year.
You throw Jameis out there with Marcus Callaway.
Yes.
Traquan Smith.
How does Jameis get that completion percentage up? That's what I want to know. Y'all talking about babying him, and I agree because I saw the same thing. But why aren't you completing 65 to 70%?
Because you have Bruce Arians, who's
high risk.
No, I'm talking about with the Saints.
What was his percentage?
59% with the Saints in 2021 and
you threw it to Marcus Callaway, who's undrafted for a reason.
There was
you threw it to Traquan.
Drops, yeah.
You threw it to Deontay Harris, who's supposed to just be kick returns.
Who's become a real good receiver route runner, by the way. I really like
he's a good number 4, number 5.
Absolutely.
So we're saying that this is fixed.
Well,
I feel like too last year, and I have actually had this written down. And it's my biggest concern on going into the season is the running back depth. I feel like they got away with the dump off passes breeze through to Kamara for all those years. Winston didn't throw those two. They went. Kamara last year was between the tackles running
was
back.
Unrecognizable last year.
Absolutely,
it was weird.
I mean, Kamara was not going. He used to set out receivers. He would have had a receiver hardly any last year. I mean, he was between the tackle, which is worrying me because he took hits last year.
I don't like him between the tackles.
I don't either. But I feel like I'm hoping
that's marking.
You're going. Yeah, that's right.
He's still under contract.
I'm hoping you're going to get Kamara out in those flat. Get those little easier passes. That complete.
How do we do this with Dennis Allen?
I don't
you see all these question marks.
Well, here's how I think we do it.
Pete Carmichael's going to. I mean,
we get Michael Thomas, who's called. Well, he broke the record. He broke the record for catches.
And that's going to boost that percentage up too.
One of the best short to intermediate guys in the league.
With Landry.
Jarvis Landry, who is the slot guy.
Yes.
Throw Alvin Kamara in there, who's probably top 2 running back catching wise.
No, number 1,
yeah, maybe number 1. Eckler's right there with him. They're both pretty dang good.
McCaffrey when he's healthy.
Yeah. So you have 3 guys who are right there for you. Then you have Olave taking the top off. You have Harris taking the top off.
Callaway's a
It's gonna. It has the potential. Yeah. We have the potential to be the best offense in the league.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
There's question marks and
tons of them.
There's a lot of question marks.
I question the offensive line. It scares the heck out of me.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the potential's there.
A big Armstead guy. Is that what scares you?
He was never there. He was only there half the time.
Has to be consistent.
Pete is the one that frustrates me more than
the day we drafted him 13th overall from Stanford.
Exactly, and every time he gets hurt, I'm like,
he gets hurt every year. He finds new ways to get hurt. He's not hurting the same thing.
Absolutely not.
He's got metal all around his body.
It drives
it's a wrist,
me insane.
It's a knee, it's an ankle, it's an elbow.
Because you're already a little shaky at the right guard position. When we kind of probably should have drafted him.
Ruiz is going to be good though.
So Penning's not coming up and playing right away.
I think Alex Hurst is your left tackle.
Really?
I think Alex Hurst. I think
you draft.
You don't move Ramczyk
or round 1.
You don't. It's not Ramczyk or Penning.
You don't like Ramczyk.
You don't move Ramczyk.
Okay, I can get down with that.
You don't move Ramczyk.
But it's not Penning.
He's an All-Pro.
You drafted a guy from Northern Iowa.
Yeah,
I mean that's where it comes into
he's
play.
He's 6'7", 325. He looks good on paper, but I mean
from Northern Iowa.
From Northern Iowa.
We didn't draft him.
Their first player to ever be drafted from
the return of Kyle Turley
in that school. I mean, I feel like.
Shout out Kurt Warner.
I think he's going to be good. I mean, I'm not down. I love the pick. I thought it was the pick that we had to have. He's not ready day 1.
He's not Ramczyk.
We might. Hey, we get. It was our bye week like 13 or something like that. Ridiculous.
Which I like.
We chose that though. If y'all don't know that, we turned down the bye after the London game. We turned that down because it was week 6, and
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
They probably only give it to those teams.
They only give it to the Londons. They turned it down, so they gave it to us like on week 13. But I mean, I'm thinking he'll be in the lineup before even the bye week. I think he's going to play. Alex Hurst, does not get the credit he deserves. Every time Armstead went down, you never missed a beat over there.
Yeah.
You didn't. I loved Armstead. I would not pay him that 5-year, $85 million.
Given that line, where are you worried about that?
Pete's not going to stay healthy.
Nope. Yeah.
He doesn't have to though, right?
Who's going to play left guard?
You got to have a left guard.
You don't have a backup left guard. You have nobody.
We don't have that. We don't have that Clapp on the practice squad.
No, you're not. Well, Clapp is with the San Diego Chargers or
Yeah.
Los Angeles Chargers.
Hey.
I get it wrong every time. He's with the Chargers because the old coach was with the Saints for years. He's the offensive coordinator.
Bill Johnson.
Bill Johnson.
No, not Bill Johnson.
Bill Johnson. He's out there too, though.
He's out there too. Offensive guy. The name of the Super Bowl trophy.
Lombardi.
Joe Lombardi.
Lombardi is the offensive coordinator.
Okay.
He got Clapp, took him over there.
Wow.
So Clapp's not there anymore.
How did Jay Lombardi get away from us?
I wonder that too.
Didn't he go to Detroit after us for a little while?
No,
Or did
he
come
went
to us
to the
from
Panthers.
Detroit? He went to the Panthers?
In the division.
So you don't have now. I did see, and I correct me. I'm sorry, I could not remember his name. They did sign a kid from Southern Miss, which I'm a little mad about Southern Miss right now because of College World Series. But they signed him to a 3-year deal, unrestricted free agent. Last week.
3-year deal.
Yes,
wow, that's a big.
He went to Ravens
must like it.
and the Saints camp this last couple weeks, and all of a sudden I get on Twitter one day and last week and they signed him to a 3-year deal. So he's guard tackle.
So that's your left guard.
I mean,
It's not Andres Pete.
It's not going to be Pete.
That's your left guard.
I mean,
for more than half.
Pete is too freaking big to be a guard.
Can Ruiz go to left? Would that help him any? I mean, because it ain't. Dude, he's getting abused.
I hated that pick.
He's getting.
Didn't they?
Like,
draft
there's a
him with
difference
the idea of him
between-
becoming the center.
Yeah.
Could McCoy not go to guard?
Didn't that? Ain't that
Yeah,
what
but he's
part
just
they
too-
drafted him for?
He's
They
just
drafted
too good
him.
at center,
They
they just can't take
drafted
him
him.
away.
They drafted him to play guard.
They drafted him to play guard.
See, I thought
He
it
was
was
a
always
center.
the intentions of him becoming the center and then
No,
moving McCoy.
no,
I don't,
no.
and I've never liked that. Like, I feel like I
You
do
draft
like
a guy when he plays.
I do like guys who are versatile, but on the line, I want that.
In the first
I want
round?
that guy there. Yes, especially.
You're going in the first round. You're going to get a guy
Now,
that's.
it was a late round pick, but we still could have got a wide receiver for once.
Classic Saints pick.
I mean,
Yes. Andres Pete.
Peyton Turner.
I'm not gonna lie, when I looked at-
lie on these first
Marcus
rounders.
Davenport.
We're not talking about either one of those.
When I looked at Pete on draft day and like I saw the dude, like it's physical specimen, I was like, he looks like a left guard or left tackle.
He's long up
he
top.
looks at he's got the long arms,
Very long.
huge. I mean, his arms are as big as your thighs.
And
He was
massive.
skinny coming out of college too. He didn't have no gut or nothing.
Yeah,
on him
he
coming out of
just
college.
looked like Flex Armstrong. You remember the toys?
Yes.
It's huge, like that's what he looked like. And I was like, man, this dude can play, hopefully, but he hasn't stayed healthy.
And I'm not the only one that's worried about the offensive line because I don't know if y'all looked at all the unrestricted free agents they signed, but they signed like 4 or 5 offensive linemen.
And I
They
think
know-
too,
they know where to have to
that's
have that.
that's
Yes.
another position, just like we talked about in the secondary, that you have to have depth
You have
because
to.
people are going to go down and look at the Bengals.
That's right.
Yep.
Look at the Bengals. Look what happened to Joey B.
Yeah. I mean,
Our boy.
Our boy. So I mean, I think it's a position that scares the heck out of me, other than the running back depth. I think
And it
people
should.
are
I mean,
overlooking that depth.
It should. O line
Yeah.
is somewhere if you want to play for a championship, you really got to have that.
I mean, there's a reason why we were 5-1 when Jameis went down.
Mhm.
I mean, he went down because the blocking was not great.
Yeah.
I mean, so are we going to be? We got all these pieces, all these toys on the outside, but is the front? And now if Penny comes in and shocks us, I'll be fine. We could cover up the left guard position. If Penny can get that left tackle, Hurts can play left guard. He plays guard and tackle. He's versatile.
I mean, he's a
played
backup
everywhere.
guy.
Yeah, he's a backup guy. I mean, but
Spot starter.
he's a spot starter. So I mean, because Pete's going. We play 17 games. Pete's going to give you about 9, maybe
In a good
in a good year.
No chance he's in London.
You give him an honorable All-Pro vote right there.
That's right. So I mean that's the position that kind of has me worried.
Not tight end.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't think we're gonna need a tight
I
end.
don't.
a whole
Yeah,
lot.
I don't
I
think
think we're gonna go.
you're gonna need for
wide
blocking.
receivers.
I mean,
Troutman can do.
Troutman's.
He's a good blocker.
They're real.
He showed flashes as a pass catcher last
Well,
year.
didn't we
too.
lose a heel? The other, not
Josh.
not our Mormon.
Josh with the Detroit.
And that's a thing I think we're gonna miss a lot more than we think.
Josh was a good player.
They say, let me tell y'all this.
Yes.
They say tight end in the NFL is one of the hardest positions to pick up early.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get a leap with Troutman.
Well, yeah, you try to go block a Javon Clowney and then go try to catch a ball against a honey badger. I mean, like they're playing, they're having to face every
these guys that are playing tight end in the league now, much like the edge defenders, are athletic freaks.
Yes.
Well, but talking about that being one of the hardest positions to pick up, didn't Kyle Pitts become like the first 1,000-yard receiver since Mike Ditka?
That's right.
Like that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Which yet again, physical specimen.
Yeah, but
You know?
there's been a lot of them that have been drafted that didn't
But
work
he-
immediately.
he-
Eric
he-
Ebron.
He ain't blocking anybody though.
No.
Well, they're Lucas Kroll is a tight end that they're
Yeah.
I've read
they're real high on him and they signed him unrestricted. That they're thinking. Matter of fact, I was actually listening to a podcast the other day, and they're thinking that the tight end we signed from Denver last year, Nick, the one that was hurt until like in the season, finally started playing.
Is it Vanette?
Vanette.
Oh yeah,
They're-
he's not bad.
He's not bad, but they're actually thinking
He's a good third guy.
if the Kroll kid could come in and play well between him and Taysom. And,
I would love for
Troutman.
Taysom to just be a tight end.
Be a tight
and
end.
that's
Be a
what
tight
he
end and
For the love of God.
give him a couple of them goal line carries.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude, just let him be a playmaker.
I
He's
just-
accounted for a ton of touchdowns.
I hate the
He don't need to play.
I hate the Kamara 8-yard run on the 40-yard line, and then
Taysom
Taysom
plays
Hill
quarterback.
comes in.
Yeah.
You know what's happening, and then
He
it's
does not
32.
need to play quarterback outside of the 10-yard line
outside of the 5.
or outside the
Like-
5. Either one. He needs to
I
be a
don't-
goal
I
line
don't-
Give me a
I
tight
don't
end
like him.
reverse.
I don't like the Wildcat. I don't want him back there. I want him out on the edge, making plays. I want him knocking somebody's block off
Yeah.
on special teams.
Which that's what I prefer
And,
too.
I
but
I
we
don't
know
have
that
I
ain't
don't
gonna
have no
happen.
problem with him at tight end.
I think
Peyton's gone,
Peyton's
though.
gone, man. That was
Peyton's
Peyton's
gone,
baby.
though. That was
But
his,
didn't we
that was
get
his toy.
Peyton's like little protege right now?
He's
Ain't
still
that?
there. Yeah, Pete Carmichael. Yeah, but I mean,
We're gonna find out a lot about
We are.
who
And
loved
I
Taysom
think,
the most.
I think
pretty
we're
quickly.
already seeing like a spin away from the Sean Payton era in that like we now have 2 LSU guys on the roster that traditionally they moved away
Two
from.
Louisiana
Speaking of
LSU
LSU with
guys.
college, I want to ask y'all this because this shocked me. So when you think of the Saints, and especially the way we've drafted here lately, what university do you
Ohio
think
State
of?
University.
Ohio
The
State.
University.
Yeah,
They call us Ohio State South.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what university we have the most guys from on the team right now?
Tennessee.
Hey,
Yeah.
man.
That's what I was gonna say next.
6 of them to be
I
exact.
believe it.
You know, you think
Yeah,
Ohio
Kamara.
State.
Dude,
Kamara, our new guy.
We've been going after Tennessee since Robert Mitchell.
When's
Yeah,
Peyton?
all right. You got Taylor. You have
Probably an lineman somewhere.
you have Tut.
D tackle.
The D tackle.
Yeah.
You have Tuttle. I'm sorry. Yeah. You have Bryce Thompson, the DB.
Tuttle,
Yeah.
the greatest stiff arm of all time.
You have Ethan Wolf, a tight end,
Yeah.
and the one that everybody forgets about is Callaway.
Yeah.
Sure
Callaway
was.
was Cincinnati.
Because he's unrestricted. So I mean, I
How
thought
many, how many of them guys you just listed are undrafted?
Let me
All
see.
except for
One.
Except for Kamara and Taylor.
So
Yeah,
what do we know
yeah.
about Tennessee? They got good character over there apparently.
Hey,
There you
Well,
go.
there we go. Hey,
We're
we're
rolling
on
close to our
Well,
heart.
Kamara went there after he left Alabama for
Got kicked off Alabama.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
Hey,
okay.
yeah.
We love him.
Hey, as long as we keep him out of Vegas, we're good.
Amen.
That's
He can just stay on Bourbon Street, stay out of trouble on Bourbon Street. You never hear them words in the same sentence.
And AK's not listening, but if he was, I would just say to him, if you have an entourage, let them do what they do. You don't need
Yes.
to punch the guy too.
That's right.
Well, that's
And
the
we
whole
love
point of the entourage. Yeah, let them do their thing.
But the one biggest, I think Kyle wants to transition here. The one biggest pickup this offseason that's not getting talked about because he's already on the roster is Will Lutz. Do y'all remember that
Oh my
headache we
What
went
a-
through last year with all these kickers?
Or the years before we had Will.
I mean,
Lutz.
exactly. Like, I don't think people realize
Garrett
how big of a
Hartley,
part
you know?
he's going to help us. We lost games last year because
I
of
feel
that.
like every team should have a sports psychologist on their roster just for the kickers, just for them to talk about the rule change for the extra points. Because how is it that the extra point percentage, now that it's moved back, is lower than the field goal percentage from the same distance.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
It's a mental thing, man.
Exactly.
And they even get to pick where they put the ball at. So if they like pushing it to the right, they can put it on the left.
It messes with them.
And one more point. I'm sorry.
Shout out to Squeak, because Squeak could make those all day long.
And shout out to Chase. He could too.
There you go.
The one thing I can't figure it out, why is Quan not signed with the Saints? What is he waiting on?
I think it's an injury
Pete
thing.
Warner's probably
Pete
Warner's
Warner.
the guy.
That's what they're saying.
That is a
I know they're high on Warner.
Ohio
is. It ain't just
We need more depth.
But we need depth.
Yes, we do.
Because there's a reason why we got DeMarco Jackson in the fifth round.
Oh, speaking
Perhaps
of,
State.
I'm glad you talked because he could be a steal of the draft.
Yeah, summed up defensive player of the year.
You talk about
What
a
school
nose
is
for
that?
the ball.
Appalachian State.
Nose
Hey,
for the
I
ball.
like taking guys from like schools like that. I think those just work for some reason.
And that's your culture too.
Yeah,
Because
those guys are
they
gonna-
play good football.
Yeah.
and they're going to work hard for you. They're going,
They have a chip on their shoulder.
They have a chip on their shoulder, and I think because I was actually thinking,
And they
he's
come
not
from a
been
winning.
a good fit. Zach Bond is not what I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
I
They
was,
hyped him up way
I was
more.
really disappointed.
He's
in
still
him.
young though.
Yeah.
He's
He
still-
is,
he's still young.
but it doesn't seem like he fits because I know there's been teams after him wanting to trade. I know the Philadelphia Eagles were wanting a trade.
Does
for
he
him.
fit? Does he fit the 4-2-5 that we're going to be?
Don't they want him to be kind of like a tween guy?
Hybrid,
Like,
Yeah, it's a hybrid.
And we
guy.
don't. That's not the Saints.
No, it's not.
It's not our thing.
Look, DeMar Davis and Pete Warner are.
Love Damari.
I love DeMar.
Hard not to.
But
love
man,
him.
I tell you, every time I watch the Saints last year, Quan popped.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's all over that field.
LSU legend.
Hey, why not? Just come on. We got two.
The one LSU guy on the field last year.
Yeah, we'll
And wearing a
we'll
single-digit
cloud.
number on the
I'm sorry.
on defense.
So speaking of LSU
Yes,
legends,
I love that.
let's go to top 5 quarterbacks 25 and under.
Oh.
That is a perfect
So I'm
transition.
assuming we got a guy.
I bet y'all don't.
Oh.
I'm not gonna have them as high as y'all do.
Spicy.
Who wants to bat lead
Who's going
off?
to start us off? Clay. Are you Kyle? Kyle, you want it?
Play it.
And we're talking about Zach Mettenberger.
Because I'm going to let Clay start us off because he's going to have one
You
guy.
know who's coming first.
Yeah, I know who's coming first, and I'm
let's
ready
go.
for this. So let's go ahead. Clay.
So
Get this
okay,
started.
let's talk to the people. So this is going to be
Our dirty 5.
our dirty 5, coined by Clay. This is going to be the top 5 quarterbacks in the league under the age or 25 and under.
Yeah, so 25-year-olds are included.
That's right.
If they weren't, it'd be a rough list.
And we came up with our list based upon what they have done so far and what we think they will do in their careers.
If Ty was here, his number 1 would be Ian Book. But he is not here, thankfully.
Talk about a draft
That
pick.
Monday night game was rough for old
And I
Book.
had told myself he's gonna be so good. I believe Sean Payton.
Dude,
I lied to myself.
even Notre Dame people were like, "Bro, he's trash. Why'd y'all draft him?"
Yeah.
All right, Clay, lead us off.
Woo.
All right,
Come
so
on.
do we want to go 5 to 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of
yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'm going Jalen Hurts.
Ooh.
Woo!
Yeah.
Ooh.
Not on my list.
Yeah.
Ooh, no,
Me
not
Why?
close.
Why? You gotta.
Like I said, do we want to go explanation or
He
do we
might
give my
not be
list?
top 10 for me.
Do we want to go
Just
player
go
by player?
Go list first.
Go list. Hit the
Yeah,
list.
then we'll break
Yeah,
it
I'm
down.
going to start that though because we got to come back to that.
Okay. Yeah, I got my reasons.
Yeah,
So we got Jalen Hurts,
okay.
Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow.
You got Burrow as 1.
I did.
Wow.
That was shocking.
I did
Hey,
not expect that.
my debate just went down. Wow, I never thought that.
Okay.
I love Lamar. Yeah, I'm probably one of the bigger believers of him than there will be. Was at the 2018 draft whenever the
They
Saints.
traded up to 14.
I've got video proof of me yelling no whenever they announced Marcus Davenport
Still have
because
nightmares.
we
about
traded
that.
2 first-round picks for a Project D end who was a bust.
He was raw.
Whoa, bust is a strong
He's not a
word.
bust.
He's not a bust.
I'll say a bust when we
he's,
could have had
he's
MVP.
not a bust.
I
would say bust.
I'll go to bust.
Bust.
For a 13th pick.
He's not a
14th pick.
hard bust.
Bust.
He has not lived up to expectations.
He's
But
not
he's not
stayed
Jamarcus
healthy.
Russell.
But
bust.
he's right.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
for 2 first-round picks, I want more than what we
Two
got.
first rounds, I agree with that.
And he has improved though.
but
Each year he's gotten better.
he does make an impact when he's on the
But
field.
now's his contract year. He ain't gonna be back.
But we didn't get our value out.
If he
Yeah,
if
we
he
didn't
comes
get the
back,
value,
he ain't
but-
coming back on a $20 million a year like he should
He
be.
better not.
Like I mean, And that's what he should be to not be a bust in my opinion.
Now, guys, we got to get back to the QB.
But I'm glad we don't have. But I'm glad we didn't take one more.
We got to get to the QB. So, all right, who wants to go next?
I'll go ahead and go.
Okay, five to one.
At 5th, I have Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm. Return to the
4th, I have Kyler. At 3rd, I have Joe Burrow.
Oh wow. Okay.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
Do we really love Joey B?
I don't even want to hear the other two now.
At
What?
2nd, I have Justin Herbert. And number 1, I got Lamar Jackson.
Woo! Nah, y'all traded lists.
Whoa.
I have
Y'all
Lamar
traded
Jackson.
lists. That's
That
what
was
happened.
Chance Williams, not Clay Williams.
I have a big stat for Lamar.
Not the guy that has a Lamar Jackson
before
jersey.
we move on. Real quick before we move on. Lamar Jackson, 37-12 as a starting quarterback. 37-12.
Throw that stat at me all you want. Put him on the Detroit Lions. He's not 37-12. I mean, he's on it.
All right, we'll debate it.
It's a culture
we'll
team
debate
that
it.
he's on.
We'll debate
I
it
mean,
next. Come on.
Okay.
You're up, Peyton.
Ooh, wow. I don't even. Man. Burrow third? Wow, okay. All right. My 5th, I went back and forth. I went with Mac, but I feel like Lawrence has ability, Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
When I watched them in college, I felt like Matt was going to be the better pro.
Yeah.
I felt like Lawrence was the better college player, but you see clips and bits of Lawrence, and you think, man,
He's raw.
Yeah,
He's more raw than you knew.
and so I'm hoping now with Doug Peterson there, maybe have a better offensive concept for him. We'll see what happens. But anyway, so my 5th
No
is Mac.
distractions either.
That's right. 5th is Mac Jones. 4th is Kyler. 3rd is Lamar. 2nd is Justin Herbert, and number 1 is Joey B. And
I can see that, and I say that because
That
my
feels
list,
like the common list.
Yeah, my list
Yeah.
is right there.
Yeah.
And guys, we didn't look at each other's list. We kind of tried to keep it, separate. And but what's weird to me is like everybody's got Kyler in there at 4. Didn't you have him at 4?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You had him at 4. You got him at 4. I got him.
I
at
think
4.
the top 3 are undeniable.
I do too.
I was just about to say.
And I honestly think they're interchangeable.
1A, 1B.
So,
I think
so
so.
let me hit mine. I've got an Alabama quarterback, not Jalen Hurts, at 5 named Mac Jones. Then I've got Kyler at 4. I've got Lamar at 3, and like you said, I debated on 2 and 1 with him, and I've got our boy Joey B at 2, which might surprise some people.
Whoa.
And I got Justin Herbert at number 1.
So do we all have a different first? Well, I have Burrow.
Y'all both have
Yeah,
Burrow. I got
both have
Lamar.
Burrow.
But
we do have
the
that
same.
Herbert.
We all have the same top 4, honestly.
Yeah,
So,
basically, yeah. Except for
Kyler
except
locked
for-
in at 4.
Yeah, I feel like Kyler's a step under everybody, but
Yeah.
I feel Lamar, Herbert, and Burrow are
So
the guys that are in that pack.
In a
with-
second, we're gonna have to defend Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
But let's go over some of the accolades on the guys that we do have.
Top 3 guys.
Pretty much our commonality, top 4 really. So in Herbert, you got the 2020 AP Rookie of the Year, 2021 Pro Bowl. The dude has averaged 292 yards per game. He's up there on the list with Drew Brees and some of the greats there. Then with Joe Burrow, of course, you got the 2021 Super Bowl, the 2021 Comeback Player of the Year. He averaged 280 yards per game. He protected the ball. He had 34 touchdowns, 14 picks, which is respectable.
2.5 to 1 TD interception ratio, which is really good.
Yeah, really good. Then Lamar, which I really felt like he would get more number 1 votes. 2019 MVP, Most Valuable Player in the League, All-Pro that same year. He got 2nd in Offensive Player of the Year, and he's been a Pro Bowler twice. I felt like a lot of his magic happened in 2019, though. And we can talk more about that later, and this is kind of why he fell a little bit on my list. Kyler Murray, and he could have been higher. 2019 Offensive Rookie of the Year, 2020 and 2021 Pro Bowler. Like all the dude does is play the position.
Pro
and play
Bowl is
it
really
pretty
not a
well.
good accolade anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, and I agree to that. And that can be discussed.
He
but
just feels like he hasn't taken that step yet. That
What does he
everybody
gotta
keeps
do?
waiting. First, he's got to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Has he made the playoffs? Yeah, I don't think
No.
he has.
He did last year.
He did.
He did?
Yeah, he did.
Lost to the Rams.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I forgot about that. He lost in the opening. And then Mac 2021 Pro Bowl, 2nd Rookie of the Year voting, only to our boy Jamar Chase. So
Here's a funny reason I picked Mac for 5th. Bill Belichick trusts him as a rookie. That's all you got to know.
Right. He don't trust any rookie.
Yeah, he don't trust nobody.
Yeah.
That was the big thing with him for me.
No, he did
And
it all with the dad bod.
10-7, I want to say. 10-7 as a rookie, so
And with not any weapons.
not any weapons, but great defense. That's something else. Going back to Justin Herbert, which I think everybody had him top 2.
I have 3.
You have him 3.
Two.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert, 8 game-winning drives in his 2-year career. That's a
69
lot.
touchdowns, 25 picks.
Herbert looks special. I mean,
8 game-winning drives. Had a 9-8 record last year. Did not make the playoffs. Take a guess what his defense was ranked. 30th.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I saw
So,
that.
God, that sounds
Give
like Drew
him-
Brees a few times.
Give him Joe Burrow's defense, which was like 14 or 15, I want to say. I looked at it earlier. Chargers make that run.
Did
Well,
y'all?
they
Did
added
y'all?
Khalil Mack this year.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking
They
about
added J.C.
2021.
Jackson.
2021, the year that everybody is talking about with Joe Burrow making that Super Bowl run, which was awesome. I loved it. I did. Give Herbert that same type of defense.
Just Herbert has the head coach though. You got
That's
defensive
another-
minded head
There's
coach
always
from the 30th.
there's
Yeah.
always questions when you're talking about the Chargers, their
Always.
organization.
There's always going to be
I mean,
They're-
Philip
it's
Rivers.
never about the draft. Like they always, every time they draft somebody, like that guy's gonna be good. That guy's
It's
gonna.
about during the season.
They always find a way to
that
lose.
Murray guy
Nah.
from Oklahoma that I was hoping
Kenneth
the
Murray.
Saints,
Kenneth Murray.
that I was hoping the
Hoping.
Saints was getting.
No.
When they drafted, it's like that's just what they need.
Now,
Another
granted,
athlete. It's
and he
a
did
freak.
it.
When it comes to quarterbacks, I think who's playing quarterback matters. And while Philip Rivers is an all time great, especially for the San Diego Chargers,
One of my favorites, though. I mean,
you're talking about
Mike. Mike Philip Rivers. That was the awesome.
Philip Rivers.
Played a game on the
Gosh,
20th.
dog it.
Philip Rivers hit me in the head with a 35-yard throw one time at camp. We'll go over that at some point, but that's a true story. He was my coach at camp. But Philip Rivers was not Drew Brees. He was not Tom Brady. He was not Peyton Manning, and he was thrust into that era with those cats. And is that why? He never could do it with the roster that he had because, bro, if you played Madden back in the day,
That was my team.
Chargers were bad. I mean, you had Antonio
Darren
Gates at tight end.
Sproles.
Well, the
Sproles.
Chargers, it's almost similar to what they're doing now. They had that year where they were the number 1 offense and number 32 defense, number 32 special teams.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
They haven't balanced it out yet.
No, they haven't. They still haven't.
Well,
But if they-
and they're in the shadow of the Rams too now.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're
and
same
Kansas
stadium.
City, and they're in their division.
Hell yeah, Denver. I mean, they're
Murder's Row out
Murder's
there now.
Row.
He's got Russell. He's got
Derek Carr.
He's got Mahomes. I mean, it's rough.
I don't think the Broncos could be that good, by the way. We'll talk about that in the future. I don't think they're going to be that good. That's just me.
You'll
Yeah,
see.
there were some things that shook up with the Broncos today. One, Walmart basically bought them. One of the
Yeah.
Walmart areas
Yeah.
for like
Go out there
$4.5
and
billion.
starter jerseys.
And Russell Wilson wants more money.
I saw 5 years, $250 million.
Sierra wants that
Sierra wants that
money. She
money.
wants that money. She
Sierra's
ain't
making
singing no
a power
more.
move.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so all right. Now I think, man, we got to talk about Jalen.
What
What do you see?
before we go in the top 5? Is there anybody that
we thought could have made it?
maybe would have made it that you're
I
surprised?
think Davis Mills deserves some respect.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I think I would have him higher than Trevor Lawrence right now.
He played arguably the
He
best
played-
ball last year for a rookie quarterback.
And he won
Yeah.
with a horrible team.
Team that's trying to lose.
A team that was dying and hoping to lose so they can
I
get
think
new
Davis
quarterback.
Mills. I think Davis Mills is going to be solid.
I had him as my 6th best.
Yeah.
I really did.
and I think you got to talk about T. Law in there, and
Just
dude,
the potential.
and it could be the
I-
bias for the region. It could be for the city that they want to pump him up, but everybody's saying that our boy with the Jets over there,
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, is going to be a baller this year. He came
He,
back.
he
he's
looks
beefed
like
up.
he has it.
Yeah.
He has that it factor, like look of
He-
a
He's
guy.
I'm not
that sophomore quarterback that I'm in on.
You think Lawrence has the in San Francisco? Trevor Lawrence. I mean,
Trey Lance.
Trey
Lance. Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
Do you think he has any potential?
I don't think he starts this year.
I think they play Jimmy G.
I think there's a reason why Jimmy G's still there.
Yep.
I think they realize inside the locker room, oh no, this guy's not ready.
This rookie class from last year is super interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Very
one we
intriguing.
just drafted, arguably sucks. We don't know because we haven't seen him. But like this 2021 rookie class
it was highly touted,
Yeah.
and you're a year in, and every single person you're like, is he going to be there past his rookie year?
Yeah.
Davis Mills would have been the first quarterback picked.
Yeah,
This past year.
Oh, absolutely. It's insane that T-Law was the guy since Luck.
And we hadn't even mentioned Justin Fields yet.
And I'm out on him after a year.
I am too.
Like, I don't.
And I was hoping he would have failed to the Saints that year because I saw the splashes with
Wait,
Ohio
who?
State.
No. I'm
Justin
talking about Lawrence.
I thought you were talking about Justin
No,
Fields.
I'm out on Lawrence after a year. I don't think
all the crap he had to
know-
go through last year.
You know why I'm not out on
His
that?
coach was getting grinded on by a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, my gosh.
I think we got to give him another year.
I think you gotta,
Look
Doug Peterson get something settled there, and
Look what just talking to Tony Romo did for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Fixed his mechanics, and boom, now he's
I don't know.
he might be the best quarterback in the league right now.
and that's something to watch for with Daniel Jones, with Brian Dable being there now.
I don't think Danny Dimes is a guy.
He's not getting this is a rookie. Contract year. He's done. He's not getting his option.
I don't think Danny Dimes is a guy. I think he could be a guy, maybe with the right perfect system.
He's
Because
almost
he's sneaky athletic.
This is going to be a shot here.
According to Davis Webb, his backup is Danny Dimes is the smartest quarterback he has ever been around. Let give you a list of the 3 quarterbacks he has been a backup to: Eli Manning, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. So
He's a Duke guy, and the coach, he has close ties with Peyton Manning's quarterback guru. He has close ties with the Mannings. Arguably, that's probably why the Giants even selected him when they did. They took him over Haskins, right?
R.I.P.
who's that?
Danny Dimes was taken over.
Yes.
I want to say. Yep.
Look,
We were
I'm
at
not
that
a
draft.
Danny Dimes guy
Here's the
because
pick after
I
Colin
was
Irvin.
at the Saints Giants game last year
It was
when
bad.
Danny Dimes all of a sudden looked like the
All
next
pro.
upcoming.
Yeah.
400. It was unbelievable, and he hasn't done nothing since that
Yeah,
game.
that's
I
true.
mean, so, granted, talking about head coach, he had a terrible head coach situation.
And when I look at these new guys coming up, I try to go back, 10, 15, 20 years and think about the guys who I saw who were like, man, those dudes might be a guy. And so many of them busted. It is so incredibly hard to play quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
I think maybe now it might be a little easier
Some of
for
the
the
rules
guys, the
adjustments,
rules changes
yeah.
and stuff, versus, guys that came up,
And just
like
being prepared.
Eli and Big Ben and those guys. But, being it, and when I think of top 5, like I'm trying to put these dudes in the same echelon, like in their era, are they going to be the Breeze, Brady, Manning, those types? Are they going to be the Steve Young, the Brett Favre, the John Elway, the Dan Marino? And
I think
the
you
only couple of guys
two.
that I really
You
see
have
that
two.
in this list
Yeah.
are Joey B and Justin Herbert.
That's it. I think that's the only 2 you have.
So you are that out on Lamar.
Yeah.
Lamar
is the most inaccurate quarterback in this list.
He was completed over 62% this past year.
I know.
With
look,
Hollywood Brown as his wide
I know.
receiver.
I know. Just watch him throw. Receivers are wide open, and they have to turn back, come back. I mean, the catches are never clean. It's not a good thrown ball.
he gets
I
those.
could not-
He gets those
he
because
gets
he's
those because-
such a weapon on his feet.
And that's going to.
And I
It's
could
going to
not
leave
count
him.
the drops he had this past year, too, though.
Yeah.
It's going to leave him.
Long
Well, have you seen his receiving core?
That's what I'm
It
saying.
ain't getting any better.
37-12 with the garbage he has had.
But he's got a defense that's.
Well, yeah,
I
and
mean,
that's
come
part
on.
of it.
I
Yet
mean,
again, if Herbert had
yes.
half of a defense,
Just give him the Cincinnati defense.
if
last
he had
year.
half
I
of a
mean,
defense,
yeah.
there's no
Swap-
telling how far he makes.
Swap Lamar with Burrow or swap Lamar with Herbert. Lamar does what Herbert and Burrow do on those teams with those offenses. Herbert and Burrow don't do that in
Whoa.
Baltimore.
Whoa,
I don't. No,
I don't.
Herbert.
Whoa!
I don't-
You're
I don't-
telling
Joey-
me? You tell me Joey B don't win a playoff game with Baltimore like Lamar had?
Who's he throwing the ball to?
Hollywood Brown.
You're
Mark
talking about
Andrews,
just
that's
strictly.
it.
Are you talking about strictly winning, or are you talking about like plays a position?
I
better?
think Lamar could have gotten the Bengals to the Super Bowl or the Chargers. Did the Chargers make the playoffs?
No, they lost to the Raiders.
I-
He could
I-
have done
They
as
should
much.
have had overtime.
And
He
I'll-
could have done as
Sunday
much
Night
with those
Football.
teams.
And the only reason I'll disagree with you on that, and I see what you're saying, he's done more with less. I do agree. But the only reason I disagree on that is, have you seen a quarterback play like him that has done it?
Well, the thing is, I
Who's
don't
done
think he doesn't have to play like this.
No,
Baltimore built this team around him. What did he do in college? He didn't run this offense. He was air raid.
He was air raid.
He was what Kyler Murray's doing.
And if you
Put
look
Lamar
at his
on
stats,
Kyler Murray's team,
each year he has dropped his
Yeah, but
rushing
that's
attempts
college versus
too.
NFL. I think they're doing that because they realize he can't be air raid in the NFL.
well, or is it because they can't draft receivers? Their best position is running back, which they had 3 tear their ACL last year.
And they
But
still ran the ball.
When you have
Yeah,
J.K.
that's
Dobbins,
right.
Gus Edwards,
Well,
Tyson Williams,
Murray.
Mark Ingram,
Murray.
and Lamar,
and that
Latavius
Hill guy,
Murray,
that Hill.
yeah, Justice Hill, and Lamar Jackson in the backfield, and then you have Rashad Bateman. What are you gonna do?
Drops Brown.
Are you going to run the ball as many times as you can, or are you going to throw the ball 50 times? You have to be. They have to be different in today's NFL because they have no other option right now.
But you see,
How many
the
rushing
free
yards?
receivers not want to go there though.
How many rushing yards did he have?
Well, that's
He
not-
has
that's
not
not necessarily
eclipsed
true.
1,000.
He's not.
He's
yeah,
been in the
but
8s and 9s.
that's a
but
lot of yards for.
That's a lot of rushing
A lot
yards.
of rushing yards.
So he's you're saying he's better than Mike Vick. He's a better
Absolutely.
version of Mike.
Not
Vick.
even close.
Even with the arm talent that Vick had.
Yeah, Lamar's got that arm talent.
Because he
Lamar's
doesn't-
arm talent is a lot closer to Burrow than y'all think.
He protects the ball.
Not
He
accuracy
protects the
balls.
ball better. He protects the ball better than Vic did. But watching him play, the accuracy is similar to Vic's. And that Vic
What was his
kinda all over
completion
the place.
percentage?
It's
And
not bad.
not this past year because he missed like 5
It's-
games.
It's not bad.
The
I
year
don't,
before.
don't give me his completion. Give
I mean,
me
it's-
I want to know
It's
percentage
65%.
after 15 yards, after 20.
Yeah.
That's where I want to know because he throws a lot of them little 5, 6, 7 dinkers. A lot. I mean,
And it works though.
It works. It works.
And that's
well,
the
I mean,
thing.
it's going to.
And he's winning
Second-
games.
I mean, when you're the way you're running the ball. I mean, but
And that's the thing. Can you really fault them for doing it when it's worked
And they have no
37 out of 49 games? You know.
But does it win you a championship?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
Is he a
when
guy?
you-
that's my thing. I don't.
Is he a guy?
That's
he's
my
not
only
the guy.
knock on him. I don't know if it's ever going to transition to the playoffs.
I mean, it took Joey B one time to get in the playoffs, and boom.
Joe B's a mon- he's
Lamar's
a
been in the playoffs multiple times.
Put
With a
Lamar,
coach
put
that's been
Lamar
there.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Put
I
Lamar
can see that.
Jackson on this past Bengals team. Give him Jamar Chase. Give him T. Higgins. Give him an easy
Tyler Boyd.
Give him an easy Tyler Boyd option. Give him Uzuma.
Uzuma. Yep.
Give him Joe Mixon, who's a great receiving
I
back.
don't think that's super.
Hold up. Give Lamar Jackson a bad O line. What's Lamar Jackson going to do? Use his most elite ability.
He's
Is that-
escaped the
I
penalty.
think that's
Is
what hurts
that
him.
is that
No.
what hurts him?
I think
no,
it hurts him.
No,
Yeah.
he would make that O line seem a lot better than it is because of what he can do.
Lamar's first instinct: bolt out. Even with Baltimore, bolt out. Tell me the last time you just sit there and you're like, man, his pocket presence is getting better. He's sitting there throwing. He's trusting.
Whenever he led a comeback and beat Patrick Mahomes on Sunday Night Football.
Great.
Whenever they're down
I
by
mean,
multiple
I'm
he
not,
does
listen,
touchdowns.
I mean, I got him. I'm saying he's not terrible
Yeah.
here. I'm just saying, like Kyle asked,
Is he a guy?
Is he the guy that's going to win you a championship? I don't believe he is.
Not with the
I think-
receiving core you give him.
I think he keeps you relevant, and I think he makes
And-
you
and
a
when
good
I say
team
guy-
every year in, year out.
And when I say a guy, I
There's
mean,
only a handful of those
yeah.
guys.
There's.
you're
I'm talking about future
Yes.
Hall guys that can win you a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That's
Joe
like the
Big.
next. That's the next
That's right.
generation you were asking about
Yes.
earlier. I don't think the next generation is necessarily out of this group. If it is, I think maybe Burrow and Herbert. Yeah, I know I have Lamar ranked 1. That's mainly and largely due for the respect that I think he deserves.
Well, I
That
mean-
I don't think a lot of people give him for his passing ability, but
He's a better passer.
he's a way better passer than people.
He is better than Vic. I was
Yeah.
playing the,
Devil's advocate.
yeah, devil's
basically,
advocate
yeah.
to talk about it, and to also bring up though, like kind of what Peyton said. He's squeaky at times.
And what did people say when he came out? Oh, he's gonna be the next RG3. He's gonna get hurt after a year. This past year is his first really injury-riddled season,
But
and he still played a lot of
But
games.
what
so
happens? That happens after you get year 4 or 5 in the league. I mean, you're gonna start.
Took
getting those
RG3
hits.
one.
It took RG3
Yeah.
a year and a half,
But
and
I
it
mean,
takes a lot of these guys a year and a half, 2
Yeah,
years.
but we're talking about
Yeah.
longevity and career.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
he's
Herbert-
gonna have to. He's gonna have to rely.
He's
on
gonna
that.
have to change his
You have
play
to.
style a
You
little
can't-
bit, but
he
right
can-
now,
Russell Wilson had to do it.
Mhm.
Steve Young had to do it.
I mean,
Mark
can you
Brunell had to do it.
fault them for doing what they've done though? When it's worked so well to get them to the playoffs, Yeah, it hasn't worked in the playoffs, but it's got
you can't fault them, but I don't think you can win a championship with that.
I don't think you can either.
I don't think you can win a championship with that receiving core.
Especially
Definitely,
in the
I
AFC.
agree.
That's the more important thing.
They're in the AFC. You're not going to win that style.
And that's a good point too. I mean, you've got Josh Allen over there.
You got Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert. I mean, Russell Wilson now.
Derek Carr, who deserves more respect than he gets.
Way more respect.
Especially with Adams.
Love Derek Carr,
I mean,
man.
the
they're gonna be
AFC is just loaded. So
I don't know how we ended up this loaded in the AFC and not.
It
I mean, I'm
used
cool
to
with
be
it
the
being a
opposite.
Saints fan, but
yeah.
Well, it's fine with me. Fine with me.
And what's crazy is we ended up getting the GOAT in our league.
That's right.
Conference.
Yeah, in our division.
But I do want to talk about Hurts, and not just because I want to like dog Hurts as a pick, but because I've always said I liked Hurts better than Tua.
Me too.
Yeah.
When he was in college.
I called Tua a bust his sophomore year.
Yeah, and I said that I wouldn't mind having Hurts on the Saints. So what? And I haven't followed him as tight. But what does Hurts have to do to become number 5 on your list?
Is he an accuracy issue? I can't remember.
Yes.
Is that the issue?
Yes.
His big issue?
Well,
like he's in the 50s on
But
this.
I think it's mechanical though.
I
With
want to
accuracy.
say.
I also think it's similar to Lamar. Tell me a receiver that plays on the Eagles not named
That's
A.J.
true.
Brown now.
Yeah.
Can y'all name one?
So
Jalen Rager, who gets comically laughed at because he can't catch a football.
he
Devonta
got picked
Smith.
before
But
Justin
Devonta
Jefferson.
Smith.
Let me play devil's advocate though. Okay, Philly's drafted
So many first
3 first round receivers. Okay. At what point do you blame the receivers? I mean, you give Drew anybody, he made all these receivers look good that
Tom
you didn't
Brady
know
for
of.
so
I
long.
mean,
Mac Jones.
Marcus Colston's a 7th round draft
Mac
pick.
Jones
I mean,
threw for over 3,000 yards with bumps.
but that's what I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure Hurts threw for 3,000.
Look what
Really?
Matt.
Yeah.
I mean,
Really, but
Yeah.
he didn't win games.
no.
Hurts made the playoffs.
They were the last seed and they got thumped.
They made the playoffs. What did Mac Jones do?
They played a way better game than the Eagles did.
Did they?
Had to.
I mean, they played-
Nobody got
Eagles
like
played
eight
some
So
Bucks. I don't know who the
it's
Patriots
known.
play.
It is known though that the
So,
Eagles
okay, so
division
Ja-
is the worst in football.
So
Yes.
Jalen's got A.J. Brown now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, exactly.
And Devonta Smith, who
Exactly.
Jalen didn't have that.
AJ
before.
Brown is absolutely a guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's a baller. He's
Yeah.
a freak show. I mean,
you got
dude's
him and
nasty.
Devontae Smith.
Like,
There's no excuses now.
It's got to go. Now,
This
what
is
does his
the time.
offensive
This
line
is
look like?
if he throws for
Offensive
another
line.
50-something completion percentage this year, it's time to move on. And I think they know that too.
It honestly
I think that's why they
surprises
tried
me.
AJ. We're gonna give
It's
him one
like-
more year.
Him coming out of college, man, I thought he was gonna be a guy. I did.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna be a steal.
I
in
liked
that
him better
second
than
round.
Tua. Yeah,
I did too.
I think Tua.
He was so successful in college.
I think Tua right now is better than Hurts. Now, will he have a better career? I don't know. They're talking about.
Tua's horrible, man.
I think Tua.
So anti-Tua.
I think Tua is going to turn it around this year.
I wouldn't
With-
be surprised.
He
With-
can't
with
throw
their-
the ball
with
far
their
enough
coach.
for
I think
Tyreek
I'm
Hill.
with
Dude,
No, I'm
that
with
is-
Kyle though.
That
I
is
think
a myth. I'm not buying that, dude. I watched Tua when he came in that national championship game.
down
He-
the left side.
Oh my
Devontae
god!
Smith.
Yes, that was a freaking bomb.
Shout out to the Louisiana boy.
That was a
Immediately.
bomb.
Neat.
So I don't think in that time period he lost anything. Does he need to work on his deep ball? Does he need more deep ball accuracy? I don't know. But
I'm
no,
with
I think
Kyle
that-
and the coach. I think that coach is
I
going to
think
make
that
Tua-
coach is going to make Tua look
He's
good.
going to camouflage his weaknesses and make him
That's
look
Clay's
a little
guy
better
right
than
there,
what-
man.
But they were just talking about somebody being traded to the Dolphins.
Tom Brady
No, somebody else.
Yeah,
I read
Sean
today.
Payton, we're going to be
and Sean Payton was
They were
supposed to
gonna
be
be the
Tom
coach.
Brady's coach.
Brady was going to be
Supposedly.
part owner and player.
And this is for another podcast, but like I'm not as high. I'm grateful for what Peyton did for us by bringing us to Super Bowl, bringing us out of the dark ages. But in his leaving, I'm not as high as everybody else is on him.
Yeah.
Not. And he tried to leave for years to go to Dallas, and I knew, and we're getting off topic, but I knew when Breeze was gone, like he was going to go too. And honestly, I think he tried to get out before then.
I don't think
I think all that, the king cake, sharing the king cake, having the parade and all that stuff he did. I don't buy it. I don't think he loved the city.
I think he'll be back in about a year or two. I
Not
think
with
he'll
the
be
Saints?
coaching
He's back.
Oh, not with the Saints.
No, the Saints.
He's
No.
back next year.
Yeah.
He sits out 1 year and he's back.
I think McCarthy's gonna get fired from Dallas. He's gonna end up in Dallas. That's gonna break my heart.
I also don't think he got along with Mike Thomas.
Oh, I definitely think that was the beef.
I think that was
I
the
think
issue.
there was
He's
a lot
like,
of it.
Breeze is out. I can't stand our star player. I can go make some money.
Yeah,
I
our
got
star
my
player's a diva.
smoking hot young
what's
girlfriend,
supposed
your
to
young
be.
wife. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Nah.
anyways, that's for a completely different podcast.
I hope you're right, and I hope we're not missing Peyton this season.
No, I hope I am right. I hope he goes somewhere. Because we still on the rights team.
Oh, we're gonna get some heck of a picks.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
Now we might go draft us another Peyton Turner, but we do have some. We will get a lot of compensation from him.
That's right.
But I'm hoping I'm not sitting there in the Superdome watching, and I'm thinking, boy, we don't have Peyton on the sidelines anymore, and it's that obvious. Because
that is true.
I mean, it could be.
We'll find
He
out
is one
very
of-
very
quickly.
quickly. I mean, you're going to know week one.
Week 1.
He's arguably the greatest offensive mind in football. Arguably.
Dude, he took freaking 5 quarterbacks and was still winning. It didn't matter who he had in there.
Yeah.
I mean, he can game plan around any of them.
Yep.
I mean, he couldn't disguise poor Ian Book, but I mean, bless his heart, there wasn't a lot you could do
We
with
ran
that.
that game until the end, though, man.
I'm just saying he's not like sold out hardcore New Orleans for like I think Drew Brees and his family are that. I think they're hardcore NOLA people, like they got their roots settled in New Orleans, they're not going anywhere. Peyton, I don't think so.
I love Drew. Obviously, I mean, God, I just love him. I do think Drew has a little fake every now and then about some stuff, though.
Oh, yeah.
He's
polished.
Yeah, very much so.
He's polished, just like Peyton Manning, just like Tom Brady.
But I think Peyton, man, being 16 years in one organization is just kind of unheard of. And I think he got, I guess you could say, bored. I mean, I think he just wanted a new scenery. And I think that had some. I think Peyton was, dude. You don't remember how animated he was on sidelines. I mean, he was all in it. But now I think when Drew left, I think he did lose that. Lost the.
I think he wasn't going to be all in.
Right.
I can't blame the guy for that.
Now, if we could have
But
got,
also, I was tired of hearing about Peyton leaving by the time he left. I was like, all right, shut up, let's move on. Like, okay,
if we could
enough
have,
king
if
cake and
Kansas City
parades.
wouldn't trade in front of us and we could have got Mahomes,
I don't even think about that.
Peyton's-
We're not talking about
Hey,
it.
we got Lattimore.
Peyton's still there,
We're not
Yeah.
talking about
and we're not even remembering.
that. Oh, man.
Where does Breeze go? Because he would have had to. He just probably retired.
He would have retired
He
a
would
year,
retire.
When he should.
the year after.
Yeah, when he should have.
When
That's
he
the
should
right
have.
play.
Last thing
Exactly.
I'll say, because I was different with the Hurts pick. I'm not high on Mac at all. It's Bill Belichick. He's going to win you football games no matter what he has at quarterback. Yeah, it's cool that he got a rookie to play his quarterback role, but I think it's just because he was a Nick Saban guy. He was that. I don't know. If it was any other rookie, I don't think it happens. He was just like that safe rookie. He's not going to be great in the NFL, but he's not going to be bad. He's just that guy. He's going to
Good
be
game
here.
manager.
And that's what I feel Hurts is. Hurts is a great leader. He's winning with a pretty bad offense. Boston Scott has to play a big role.
He's in a favorable division.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Very winnable division.
And I don't think Hurts is not going to be any of the other top 4, but he's not going to be bad ever. I think he's going to have a 10 or 15 year career where he's just Case Keenum.
Hurts is probably could be the best backup in the league.
Yeah.
That's more what.
Or
it is.
he could be
That's
one of the
what
other
you want.
low tier starters. Put him on like a. I'm not going to say put him on the
Commanders.
Saints, but put him on a Saints team that has like
So, does
a
that-
good defense and a good core around them, and they'll be decent.
So is he better than Davis Mills then?
I don't think so.
I mean,
Because you take Davis Mills, who won with absolute garbage, and a team that was
Trying
trying
to
lose.
tank. I mean,
Davis Mills had a better receiving core than Hurts. He had Brandon Cooks.
And that was
And
it.
you gotta think
He had
too, like
Kuze or
T-Law.
Kuzi, whatever his name is.
T-Law's ceiling is
Still high.
still high.
I don't think we can give up on
Yes.
him yet.
I don't think you can.
I'm
I
not
don't
quite
know
out
if
on
T-Law
him.
will ever make
Now,
the
there's-
playoffs.
that's touchdown Jesus.
There is
man.
one guy
He was
that I
a
can't
Jackson.
believe hasn't
can't.
been a hot topic because he has been a hot topic this offseason. And that's
Sam
Kyler.
Darnold.
That's Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
I mean, does he think
He's a millennial like quarterback is what I feel like, not an adult, I'm a millennial.
But do we?
non-football.
What is Kyler? I mean,
Professional video gamer,
but what is
part-time baseball player.
Future
who's
professional
his
baseball
comp?
player, probably.
Does he have a comp? He doesn't, and I think that's what scares Arizona. And I think that's because you don't have.
I think he could be Lamar. I think that's the closest thing to him.
No,
Check his
no.
rushing numbers. He don't run the ball.
Yeah, he don't run it like
He don't
you
run the
think.
ball.
He runs it behind the line of
He
scrimmage.
runs it
He's-
behind the
yes, he
line of
does.
scrimmage.
He's
That's
scared
exactly
to get out.
right.
Huh?
Yeah, I think he
because he's 5'9".
right.
He has to get out the box.
Is he Russell Wilson?
No.
Okay, so you don't really have
He's his own guy.
He's his own guy, and I
Russell
think that's
Wilson
why.
is probably the
he
best
be-
option.
Could he
he's
be
the best.
Russell Wilson?
Yeah, I think he could.
Yeah.
I think he could. I don't know.
He's got arm talent.
He's got the arm
sure.
talent.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know
unbelievable
how
arm
he
talent.
gets that ball down the field in that 5'9" frame. Like
Oh,
that.
I mean, it's
I
unbelievable.
mean, Russ is
Doesn't
what
look-
5'11". He's right there with them.
Yes, that's right.
And Russ, that's something he does. He's a big behind
Russ-
the line of scrimmage guy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
Russ
Russ's
is great
frame,
pocket. Russ is
Russ's
thick.
frame is big.
Yes.
Russ is
Yeah.
thick.
Kyler is not.
He can take a sack if he needs to. I don't know if Kyler can get popped one good time by Miles
Kyler
Garrett
looks like
from
a
the blind side.
Kyler looks like a second baseman.
I mean,
He is.
He's a center field.
I mean, Kyler's.
That's the future center
He's
field.
rushing for that contract. Tells me a lot about him. I don't think he thinks he's going to be playing football long.
And
Yeah, I think it's him trying to get locked up before he gets hurt.
Yeah, it's exactly
One
right.
more
I
little
think
thing
he
I'll throw in.
realizes-
He's not 25. He's just turned 27 in April. Baker Mayfield would be my number 5.
Ooh.
By far. Not even close. I had to throw in a Baker.
We're not talking about
Baker's a top 20 quarterback
That's
in
a
the NFL.
whole other podcast
Oh.
right there.
Baker's a top 20 quarterback in the
Baker
NFL.
still plays for the Browns this year.
He does.
He's going to start.
Have you
for the Browns.
heard the latest
Yes.
accusers?
Two more?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God, it's atrocious, man.
Thank you, God. The Saints did not trade.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, Baker
Deshaun may not even play this year
ever.
He'd be the next Trevor Bauer.
He honestly
Yeah,
Does the
long time.
NFL do that kind of move though? Trevor
If it
Bauer
gets
doesn't
bad,
I
have
think
the
they're
star.
getting to
they
the
have
point
to.
where they're just
Trevor
about to
Bauer
have
doesn't
to.
have the star power that a Deshaun Watson does.
I don't know. He was coming off a Cy Young
That doesn't
and
compare
the
though.
$40 million.
So that fully.
AAV
Mike Trout
contract.
doesn't have the
On the
star
Dodgers,
power.
yeah.
I mean,
that-
that Watson full contract though, that had some. Surely
Oh,
had
yeah.
some.
And it
Well,
also
right,
it also
I'm
had
sure.
built in that he would only lose $1 million even if he sat out the entire year.
Yeah, this year he's only making $1 million, his cap hit. Next year it's like $54 million.
Wow.
But even if Watson's out for the whole year, which I think as each day goes
I
by,
wish the Saints would have still tried it though.
yeah, as
Well,
each
what
as
do you-
each
what do you
day
have
goes
to
by,
lose?
I think Watson is
Jameis.
yeah
James wasn't going nowhere.
You think he would have
Who was
stayed?
going to sign?
He wasn't going to stay.
Who signed him?
exactly
Who signed
because
him?
that's the exact reason.
nobody-
Why is Baker Mayfield not on the team?
Exactly.
Why is
Colin Cowherd
nobody
seems to
wants
think that Baker would have been a good fit for the Saints.
Now that needs to be another topic
Because he thinks-
I can give us 20
He
minutes
thinks
on
he's
that.
Drew's
Yeah.
basically
Well, but Colin Cowherd's also one of the biggest Baker haters
small
there is.
markets. He hates small markets.
He does.
He just likes to kick his forward down.
But Jameis wasn't going nowhere. I mean, that's why you got him for what you got
Yeah.
him for. Nobody wanted him.
Well, I think it's just the timing of the Watson thing.
Yeah.
If Watson signs 2 weeks earlier, Baker's on a different team.
Watson was an atomic bomb in the quarterback market. There.
Yeah,
Like,
it signed at the wrong time where every team had already drafted their guy, or was going to draft, or they'd already signed a guy, and it just left
we
Jimmy
might-
G and Baker out there.
He might have changed the way that contracts are looked at for quarterbacks in the NFL forever because he got all that guaranteed money and then he might not even play.
Yeah.
I mean, woo!
But there will absolutely be something.
If that
for
happened,
Boyd.
that would be the most Browns thing of.
It would.
So Cleveland.
I mean, that's almost Detroit Lions type thing.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That would blow up the franchise for sure. But anyways, guys, we
We've
went on
over
some
the
tangents.
2-hour mark. We're at 2:13 right now.
Wow.
And I could still go.
I could keep going.
This is why we're gonna have to have more than one show a week.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
But guys, if you made it this far, we really appreciate it. And I think this last little segment here about debating the top 5 quarterbacks, 25
Dirty
and under,
Five.
was awesome. Our Dirty Five.
35.
I think we need to incorporate a Dirty Five in every episode.
Yeah,
like
we'll
this.
absolutely have some type of debate every time because
That's the best part. That's what friends do. They debate sports.
yeah, it's
stuff.
fun. That's
You
the
know,
fun
it's
This
stuff.
is what we do on our group text messages, so why
All the
not
time.
just...
We're gonna do this anyways. We might as well do it
Yeah,
behind.
we might as well
That's
record
right.
it.
Yeah.
For sure.
We're going to have
And,
dirty 5, dirty 10. You never know what we can have.
And we hope you enjoyed this episode. This episode right here is what I would call our normal episode.
I doubt it'll be this long
I doubt it'll be this long,
We'll
but
try
our
to
normal
cut it.
flow here.
until the Warriors win the championship, and then I go 2 hours by myself.
Yeah.
We might just give Clay
On his
solo
victory
show.
parade.
Yeah, victory show.
But we hope you enjoyed it. And same thing as last week. Thank you for listening. Please follow us on all of our social medias. And please interact and let us know what you'd like us to talk about. And
tell me why Lamar is overrated. In the
and
comments.
tell me why Joe Burrow deserves to be first-ranked quarterback ahead of Justin Herbert for sure. I can see him being over Lamar, but tell me why he should be ranked over Herbert. But that's it, guys. Y'all have a great week watching sports. Hopefully, chop on.
Who that?
This ain't how it's supposed to be. It should be just you and me.